kings rising high in our own destiny. Moving through the storm, proud and bold we stand. Shining like gold, love's in command.
Miss Andre tried to put him down with a Miss Andre vibe, but Jermaine flipped the script, now watch him thrive. In a classroom of doubters, his spirit never fell. Every harsh word turned to beats that made him rebel. They came the neighborhood dropping wisdom like a rhyme. Challenged that old Miss Andre said, not on my time. With his wife Mia Swahili for strength and grace by his side, they set the record straight with humor and pride. In the dating game and gender wars where opinions clash and play, Jermaine and his crew keep it smooth, dancing hate away from awkward first dates to the battle of the hearts. They flip the script with funky vibes and soulful art. Talk, let them squabble, we're too fly to be confined. Every snide remark just fuels the fire of our mind. With laughter as our armor and pride, our battle cry, black men rise above it all, reaching up into the sky.
Fall, let the whole world see. Black kings rising high in our own destiny. Moving through the storm, proud and bold we stand. Shining like gold, love's in command.
Miss Andre tried to put him down with her Miss Andre vibe, but Jermaine flipped the script, now watch him thrive. In a classroom of doubts, his spirit never fell. Every harsh word turned to beats that made him rebel. Then came the neighborhood dropping wisdom like a rhyme. Challenged that old Miss Andre said, not on my time. With his wife Mia Swahili for strength and grace by his side, they set the record straight with humor and pride. Game and gender wars where opinions clash and play, Jermaine and his crew keep it smooth, dancing hate away from awkward first dates to the battle of the hearts. They flip the script with funky vibes and soulful art. Talk, let them squabble, we're too fly to be confined. Every snide remark just fuels the fire of our mind. With laughter as our armor and pride, our battle cry, black men rise above it all, reaching up to the sky.
Fall, let the whole world see. Black kings rising high in our own destiny. Moving through the storm, proud and bold we stand. Shining like gold, love's in command.
Let him talk, let him squabble, we're too fly to be confined. Every snide remark just fuels the fire of our mind. With laughter as our armor and pride, our battle cry, black men rise above it all, reaching up to the sky.
Rain fall, let the whole world see.
Excited to announce my new kids book, Aisha Learns to Love Her Hair. Aisha's hair is stunning, but kids book, Aisha Learns to Love Her Hair. Aisha's hair is stunning, but she struggles to see its beauty. Through encouragement and wisdom from Grandma Lily, Aisha learns powerful lessons about self-acceptance. Aisha's journey is a heartwarming tale of family, culture, and confidence. Share her magical journey with your little loved one today. Available for purchase.
All right. Hey, everybody. Happy, what's today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. This is like super crazy last minute. Let me try to get the orientation right. Very impromptu, but I'm excited to have on a special guest today, Blunt Girly, also another follower, subscriber of mine. We've engaged back and forth in the comments, and we've been meaning to have a conversation. So welcome, Blunt Girly, to my page.
Thank you. I'm super excited to do this with you. I love your channel. I've been watching you for years.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming. So I'm curious, how did you find out about my channel, or was it YouTube, TikTok, or?
Oh, I mean, you're like popping, like who doesn't know about your channel? So yeah, I had been knowing about your channel for like years. I don't even remember how I discovered it because it's been so long. Like even before I made my channel, I knew your channel. So I don't remember.
All good, all good. So what inspired you to start, your own channel and your own, just your own YouTube career, and just let the audience know what it is that you do, what you talk about, all of that.
I would say what inspired me to start my channel was I just, I always would have the unpopular opinion when I would be scrolling on social media, and I would be burning up with my thoughts. And I don't know, I just needed to like express it and see if there's other people that
Okay.
also think what I'm thinking.
What you think? Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? I know this is all last minute, so some people, and I know also too, it's like this is late, late for some of my followers, because I'm in the Bay Area, so it's 8 over here. But for my East Coast people, this might be a little past their bedtime. So, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, so you said you kept on seeing things on social media. You kept on seeing these perspectives, and you felt like you were the minority perspective. You felt like people needed to hear something different than what was mainstream.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So how long have you been on social media, like sharing your perspective, would you say?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I've had accounts like here and there before I
Okay.
made my YouTube account.
Okay.
So it's been like a couple of years, but I've been on YouTube for about 2 years now,
That's
if I'm
dope.
guessing.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining. And I'm like so many things to cover off. Where do we focus? Well, I know we had talked a little bit earlier about just unpacking this idea of colorism a little bit more, and whether or not that is turned into an ugly girl problem. Now, before I kind of, discuss why that question, I just want to hear, like, just give me your general thoughts about colorism. Like, when you hear the term colorism, what comes to mind? What is your perspective? What do you think about it?
Um, yeah, like on my channel, I've always questioned and examined colorism. I know they don't like to hear this, but because I believe colorism should be a thing where it matters. That's my philosophy. Like, meaning, um, so colorism is the discrimination against skin tone.
Right.
You
Right.
can't do that. It's illegal to do that, like when you're getting hired in the workplace and stuff
Right.
like that. But people like to focus the conversation on dating. And I don't think that's right, because I feel like everybody's entitled to their own preference, period.
Yes.
And I don't think that they should get shamed if they prefer, only lighter skinned women or only, dark skinned women.
Right. I agree. I completely agree with that. Now, have you ever heard of this concept of colorism in reverse? That is, men, and I'll talk specifically in the Black community, right? Black men who will only date dark skinned women. What are your thoughts about that?
See, that's what they don't talk about. I've met so many Black men that are like that. It's just we don't focus on that. And that was my whole thing. I feel like a lot of darker skinned girls, they're just very insecure, and they only focus on, what lighter skinned women are doing. Yeah.
So would you classify yourself as like a lighter skin or brown skin or dark skin, or you don't really like to use those classifications?
Oh my God. I am proud to be Black. Like I run towards my Blackness. So I don't care like what shade I am. I call myself dark skin. Yeah, dark skin.
So,
Yeah.
so you would consider yourself a dark skinned Black woman, but you don't rock with. It sounds like you don't identify with colorism as far as feeling like it's something that actively oppresses you.
Not at all. No, I no, not even close. Yeah, this is one of the unpopular opinions that I had that actually really inspired me to start my channel. This was my first video topic where I said, okay, enough is enough. Um, I wouldn't say, like, I've posted myself a little bit here and there. I don't know. I mean, different people can interpret me in different ways. Some people say I'm brown skin.
Okay.
I'm not like super, super dark, but I call myself dark skin. So I think I'm like around your shade, actually. I
Okay.
think that's a good description.
Around my okay. Well, the thing about it is okay. In this whole colorism conversation, colorism, featurism, texturism, I'm trying to think. I heard a content creator say this, which I thought was kind of interesting but true. How, like, first of all, it's only, I feel like, Black women who get incredibly particular about shades. I don't I don't see Black men going online debating whether they're they want a lady who's mocha latte brown versus
Oh,
like honey milk dew.
oh
Uh,
my gosh.
like I don't see men do that. It's like you're cute or you're not cute. Like that is literally, that is it. That is the end, the beginning and the end of it. It's really women, I feel, who get down to the gradient of color, the gradient of shade, to the features, like how
Exactly.
popular versus European versus non-European versus West African. Like, it's women who do that. Okay. So, I remember I got a comment a few days ago. They're just like, oh, you're like the beginning of like dark skin tone. And I'm like, oh,
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
And then I was like, but then somebody may look at me and be like, oh, you're more brown skin because of your features. But I felt like if I had features that may be considered more West African, then I might be considered dark skin. So I don't know. I think it's all very subjective based upon the argument at hand. Right? But it sounds like you're basically saying that as you identify yourself as, brown skin, dark skin, who the hell cares? Ultimately, you're a Black woman. Okay. You're a Black woman. And you are a Black woman who does not feel in any way, shape, or form oppressed or bothered by a skin preference, whether it be for a woman or a man.
Yeah. So the thing with me is I look so many different shades depending on the picture. And I'm
Of
sure
course,
you can relate to that too.
I can. I can.
Yeah.
Seriously, lighting. Like, I can remember there's one time I posted something on TikTok. Total side note. Um, and it was like natural light. Like, there was no filters. I usually don't use filters on TikTok or anything. But it just happened to be natural light, and the person was just like, "Oh, they made reference of my skin tone being a lot lighter," and I was like, "Bro, like, it's just light. Like, light is
Oh,
on. Like, that's
girl.
it."
The conversation, like, again, yeah, I feel like women, we're very detailed and then men are very simple.
Yep.
And yeah, like sometimes people just get so dense and ignorant and they don't know how chocolate skin works. It can look all different types of ways depending on where you're at, the lighting, the season, like yeah. I experienced that too.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, this one is interesting. It says brown skin is dark skin. It's a Black woman who created this. Oh, I'm brown skin nonsense in the 90s. Oh my gosh, in 2000s.
Exactly.
Yeah, literally. Like, I don't. It was actually my husband. My husband was the one that told me about this. Maybe like a year or two ago, when it really took off on TikTok. Unless that was happening beforehand, and I'm late to the game. But I know there was some trend, I think, that happened. Like, this whole brown skin versus dark skin versus light skin, and I was like, wait, brown skin privilege? What the hell? Like, what? Like, that's a thing now?
Oh my gosh.
And I actually saw a girl who explained it, where she basically said, I guess, so the brown skin privilege is you don't benefit from light skin, right? But you're not oppressed for being hella dark. So that's brown skin privilege. Like, you're not dark, but you also don't have the benefits of being lighter. Like I said, it's only women who get this granular. And the reason that we're talking about this, right? How, like, how to put it, like, how detailed they get with the gradients, with the features, with how the features appear, where the features are. Like, really, I think it goes down to this core belief of, like, either you are considered pretty or ugly. That's what I believe is at the core of all of this.
Yes, yeah. I agree.
I saw this comment over here where it was like, never heard a dark skin baddie basically complaining about colorism.
Yeah, I mean, do you remember when Cash Doll came out and I guess they asked her like, are you oppressed from colorism? And she said no. She's like this very beautiful chocolate rapper. And then the colorism crybabies, they attacked her. for saying no, and then they bullied her into coming back to the timeline and saying, actually I am oppressed. Never mind.
What the hell? Sorry, it's so annoying to me. It's so annoying to me because, like, here's another thing that I've noticed. The women that I hear complain about colorism, featurism, texturism a lot, I think, who really feel oppressed by it, or versus those who feel like they benefit from it, I find that it is oftentimes connected to the attention they can get from men. Women, and this, it just hear me out, I could be wrong, but women who I believe who are happy or content with the attraction that they get from men, or the men that they want, don't go around feeling oppressed all the time. Like, they don't feel like they're constantly, kept out of whatever access they feel like they should. But if you're a woman who consistently feels like you cannot get access to the kind of men that you like, and again, this is assuming you're heterosexual, but you can't get access to the kind of men that you want, that's when you may feel like you don't benefit from the isms. That's just my.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's why I like the topic of this discussion today about what was it, uglyism or something?
Yeah, it was colorism and uglyism. I mean, I could, because that was a live that I did a while back, like, this colorism, uglyism.
Yeah, because I'm so sorry, and I will stand on this, and I'm not, going back on what I said. If you look good, men are going to be in your face. End of discussion. I'm sorry. I mean, conversation over.
I think it's that. I think it's that simple. If you look good, men are going to be in your face, period. Whether you're dark, whether you're brown, whether you're light, whether you're mocha chocolate latte, pink or whatever, because people add in all gradients, whether you are lake water, dark, you know what I mean? Like, men are gonna be in your face, regardless.
Yeah.
It's so simple. And if you're not, you're not. Like, there are plenty of, I remember talking to one of my good friends, white blonde. And I remember us talking about, I don't remember how we got in the conversation, but she was talking about how, like, when she grew up, she kind of grew up in an environment that I think was kind of diverse. San Diego blonde, right? But, like, she went to school that was, like, diverse. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you're a San Diego blonde? Like, what are you talking about? You don't feel. But yeah, like, San Diego blonde. And she's like, I actually kind of felt like the awkward white girl growing up. Like, I kind of wanted to be, like, more something, Oh. And we were kind of laughing about that because the thing is, like, she's like, a white blonde, and she knows that obviously gives her access and certain things, but she was still very much like, didn't feel like she was getting head turns everywhere. So she would question, am I pretty? You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing too, that I think is also removed from this conversation. Sometimes I think women, Black women in particular, who did not grow up around other races of women, who didn't grow up around other races or constantly have interactions with other cultures, may have perceptions about how they see themselves that are not necessarily reality.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was just thinking about that. Yeah. Can you, like, go more into detail? Because I'm actually very curious, though, about where you're going with this.
Well, okay. So, like, how do I, okay. Prime example. First of all, any Black woman that idolizes white men does not know white people.
Oh, I got it.
Like, that's just one example. And a lot of I think girlies, I think Black women particularly, who may feel othered or who may feel like they don't benefit from the isms, it is not uncommon for me to see those women have preferences for white guys. And this is why I talk a lot about swirling and divesting. First of all, it seems to be a topic that always gets traction. I talk about Black love. I have done it and I'll continue to do it. But when I talk about Black love, it never gets the amount of tension. It never gets the amount of traction that does when it's interracial. So that shows me that there's high interest there. But the reason that's important is on just like a basic, I don't know if it's like a biological thing. I don't know if it's like a, I don't know. But generally speaking, like, men of any race, of all races, tend to be the most attractive to women of their own race. This is
Mhm.
across the board. This is Asian culture, white culture, black culture, Latino. This is just what it is. So if you're a black girly, right? And let's say you grew up in the Midwest. I see somebody in the comments who said they grew up in the Midwest. If you're a black girl and you can have beautiful dark skin, you can have lovely almond eyes and hair that fits perfectly with your features. If you're in an area where the beauty standard and most people there are blonde hair, blue eyed, it doesn't matter how beautiful, how gorgeous you appear, you just simply don't fit what they want. You know what I mean? Like if you're a man who wants a blonde hair, blue eyed girl, you could have a freaking Sudanese model walk in, and that's just not your type. So I say that because I think sometimes there are black women who especially if they grow up in these environments, or they just caught up in whatever narrative about white men being the best for whatever reason. I think sometimes they actually may feel uglier than they really are because they're trying to go after men who are the least likely to want to date and marry them. Right? That's one, and that's just, again, this is just one reason. I think there's multiple, but that's just one example that I could have of you see a video, you see all these Netflix movies, and you're like, oh wow, interracial dating is so great. They have all these concepts, but they don't understand white kids. And as a black woman, if you're not aware of that, and if that's what you primarily want, and these guys aren't checking for you, you may think that you're hella ugly. And it's like, well, maybe you're not, black men will like you, but maybe you're just not their type. Like, am I making sense?
No, you're super analytical and you think just like me, because I've explained this before. And I've never really, well, besides you, I've never really heard anyone really like talk about this the way you're talking about it. I talk about this all the time. I have my own story. Like growing up in the Bay Area. So I grew up as a kid in Fremont. Do you know anything about Fremont?
Girl, yes. I mean, now it's pretty much all Indian. I don't know if it was like that when you grew up.
You see what I mean?
One of my close friends grew up in Fremont as well, so I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah, there was like, even if you look up the statistics, there's pretty much no. Well, when I was a kid, there was no black people.
Okay, yeah. It was. So was it still mostly Indian when you grew up there? Because since I've really known about it heavily, it's been just Indian. Like that's the place you go to get like. And this is no disrespect, but like that's what you see out there.
Oh yeah, it's super Indian. It's super Asian. It's like white people,
Asian, right.
Spanish, but yeah, very Indian for sure.
Okay.
But just, I think I went to elementary school out there, and I always tell this story. There was like no black, like, just a handful of black people.
Right.
And so in elementary school, I have experienced this night and day. I guess it's petty talking about elementary, but whatever. All the other girls though, they had boyfriends. I'm not gonna lie. I went through a period of just because it wasn't any of my people. And I'm just going to be honest. Nobody wants to talk about this. So I'm glad we're talking about it. But yeah, like I definitely got overlooked. And it wasn't an issue for me. I was a little girl. Like I wasn't trying to date. So it wasn't something I was aware of. I just I just understood that people prefer their own groups. So, and then when I got older and then I went to a more black school, I guess, that's when it was like a night and day difference for me. And I experienced, I guess you can say, being the preference. A lot of black guys took interest in me because I'm black. So that's my experience.
That part, literally that part.
Yeah.
And so again, that's a perfect anecdotal example. Sometimes it's just, there's nothing wrong with you, just wrong environment. Like that video that I posted the other day of that beautiful biracial woman who was in the Midwest. And she was talking about how she didn't get no play because she's the exotic pig. And she was a beautiful woman. Like there's nothing wrong with her. But she was in, I think, freaking Iowa, where they want people who look like Taylor Swift. And she didn't
exactly.
Look like, you know what I mean? So again, that's just like I love that you shared that, because that's a real life practical example of how it looked. You were in one situation, you didn't get no play, all you did is change the environment, and it's like, wow,
I was pedestalized, literally.
Okay. That part, so right. And then you're saying that as you would say that as a woman that you would classify yourself as a dark skin.
Yes,
You
that's
would
what
say
makes
as a
this
dark skinned
conversation
woman.
rare. You don't hear people talk like this.
So because ultimately you're a dark skinned woman who feels like so would you say you feel like you benefit from the isms, featurism or texturism? Because I guess you wouldn't benefit from colorism based upon this conversation. But do you feel like you identify with the other isms?
You know what? That's a good question. Again, I feel like women, all those isms, I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of an unnecessary thing.
I agree. I
Um
agree.
I think it's all about facial harmony.
Right.
Because no, I don't think that I have, like, I don't look mixed, or I don't have loose hair or nothing like that. Like, I look like a black woman.
Right.
But people, if I ask, I've asked people and they would describe me as like pretty. Like, a lot of people found me attractive, very attractive.
Mm-hmm. Right. And this is why, again, going back to that, it all goes out the door when you feel like you're attractive, basically.
Yeah.
That's all the isms, all of the isms go out the door when it's you feel attractive.
Yeah. It's more so like, these conversations about isms is kind of pointless, because again, it's about your facial harmony. Are you pretty or not? Because a lot of girls go on all day about how they have the features on paper, right? Some go on about how they have light skin, maybe loose curly hair.
Okay.
And in certain sectors, when they've shown themselves, it's like lackluster. So it's just all about how your features come together. Are you, like, if you're pretty or not? That's just been my thing.
That's been your thing. Okay. Okay. So you really think so? Well, let me say this. Like on colorism, we obviously, and I'm sure being a black person, like you can understand, obviously racism is real, and obviously colorism, there is a truth to that. Like I remember, I think it was Dr. T.S. Johnson. I did a live with him a while back, and he talked about how no one talks about the way colorism impacts black men, but like colorism for black men can make the difference of you getting stopped from the police. What job are you getting? Your
Yeah.
application, like so it does impact obviously black men and black women. I'm not here to deny it. I think what I've found or what I've noticed about this conversation is I think it's now it's being used as a way for women to deflect or to overlook actual ugly behavior. Like sometimes I think women don't get the results they want, not because they're dark skinned or even brown skinned, but because they have bad attitudes or because they just have ugly personalities or because they're unaccountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I have found that I think the colorism conversation, while it is valid and while it can be valid and implied in certain scenarios, I feel like it's become overblown. It's become overblown.
Yeah, I feel like people, again, like, they use it out of context. Like, I love what you said. Talk about colorism where it actually matters, where you can't discriminate, such as, again, like getting stopped by the police more because you're dark skinned. I'm sorry, but I just think that it's weird to police random people's dating preferences. It's always going to be weird to me. I
Well,
feel like people are entitled to discriminate when it comes to who they want to date. I'm sorry.
well, and here's the thing, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you got a man.
Yes, yeah.
And so going back to my theory, I found that I think those who either feel like they benefit or don't benefit from colorism can largely be determined by the level of success they're able to have in the dating realm, because that's where it's really applied. I rarely see women complain about colorism when it comes to them getting the job or not getting the job. Not to the level that it is when it comes to like relationships, desirability, like Chris Brown. That's where it comes up the most.
Yep.
But because you're in a relationship and you're with a man that you want to be, and you've had attention from black men, as a dark-skinned woman, you're like, I'm cool. Like I don't. What are y'all over here talking about? So yeah, those are all things to to really take into consideration. But yes, that's again something else that I've noticed. I think it can just be totally. I think it's becoming a cop out. I think some women are using it as a cop out, and that's not helping anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because yeah, I feel like women only talk about colorism. Again, I don't like using the word colorism. They talk about people's dating preferences. But I guess I can say colorism for this conversation. So yeah, they only care about colorism when it comes to who met, like what men is picking them. They don't care about it where it actually matters. And yeah, I feel like it's just used as an excuse at this point. Because I have chocolate, very gorgeous, stunning women in my life, and they have no issues at all.
Literally no issues. Let me say this. So, and going back to reverse colorism, well, it's funny because like I like my grandpa's, you know, two of my grandpas, like God, but bless them. I remember one was like definitely would be considered a colorist. Only like lighter skin, only like lighter skin or non-black, right? He would be considered a colorist. My other grandpa, total opposite, reverse colorist. He only liked dark skinned women with round booties. Like, that was his thing. He liked dark skinned women with nice physiques, you know? And I just remember growing up hearing like I never really thought about it until I think recently and seeing how colorism was a thing. But I always remember hearing like kind of opposites attracts, like how dark skin or dark skinned women would like light skinned men, and like vice versa. Like they just,
Exactly.
I just heard that. I don't know. So I'm just saying that because like that reverse colorism, like one of our good friends, successful engineer, you know, personal trainer, nice and buff, lighter skinned dude, right? And he said openly he really wants a dark skinned woman. Like he's dated brown or light skin, but he was like, if he had his preference would be for a dark skinned woman. This is an attractive, handsome black man in the Bay Area, you know, has his own home, you know, has a nice white collar job, also works out very accomplished dude. And he's like, I really want a dark skin girly. And he's one of many that I personally know. Many.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad you're talking about this because I see a lot of people are itching to have that conversation. Like, why are we making this conversation so one-sided? Why are we policing like who's into light-skinned women when everybody has their own preference, including dark-skinned women? Dark-skinned women discriminate too. So it's a stupid conversation. And you said there was like a light skinned man that was into only dark skinned women. That's the same as my husband. Like he likes chocolate. And I've met so many men that only like dark skinned women.
Only
Like,
like,
why don't we talk about these things? Why is it so one sided? It's just very just biased and ignorant, kind of. I don't know.
I might have to dig more into it because it's funny. It was actually my husband. I was talking to him about this week, and he was like, "Yeah, what about reverse colorism?" Because he was like, I mean, he could tell me off the top of his head multiple conversations he's had with black men who were just like, "Man, like I love." Because the thing about it is, like, especially when they're like super dark, it's like it's just because it's rare, you know. And black men already have an affinity to black features because that's what they have. And I think just men in general tend to be more. They tend to be more moved by cultural pride, I think, in maintaining cultural pride than women. I think, and maybe this is just you know, maybe controversial take, but I feel like women are like typically free agents, meaning they fall in love with the dude. If he can give them a nice house, a nice car, a comfortable life, they don't care if he's from freaking Ukraine versus if he's a African prince versus if he's an FBI. If the guy is going to treat him nice, give him a nice life, has enough money, gives him status, is attractive, it's like whatever. Whereas I think men, even if they are attracted to different women, I think like men, some of them are more about like, I want to build my community. Like I want to make sure I have kids that look like me. Like I feel like that's more of like a man thing. What do you think?
Shoot, that's a really great point. Like you're basically saying like women, they don't care as long as they're provided for, but men, you think that men are selective about like keeping their DNA?
Yeah, I think, okay, it's not that like women don't have preferences, but what I'm saying is I think because the expectation is that men are to protect and provide, and think about it, like we've had like hundreds of thousands of years of evolutionary biology that kind of has had men acting a certain way and women acting a certain way. I think because men are traditionally expected to like risk their life for their family and their community, they place
Mhm.
more value on maintaining their culture. Whereas women, we're more short-sighted in the sense of I want to make sure my family is okay and my kids, whatever. Men are expected to kind of like look out for the larger community. So I think because men are tend to be more like are expected to look out for like the well-being of the community, whereas women tend to look just at like their family, their immediate kids. My theory is that women are looking at men who can give them like more of the immediate, especially like in a capitalistic nation country. It's like this is why you see black women who are pro-black for the first 2 months, of the year. They have a news revolution. They're pro-black, and then by month 3, they met them a little white dude who maybe got him a little corporate job, or he's just cute, or he has status, and so now they're in this world, the white boy era. And then once white boy era ends, then they're in the rainbow, and they're dating a girl until the end of the year. And then it's like, so the things change based upon what works for them. But men, they're thinking legacy, they're thinking their name, they're thinking their honor. Like, I don't hear women talk so much about like my legacy. Like, what am I going to be remembered for? Like, who's going to carry my name? Like, I don't hear women talk about that, but I hear men talk like that.
That's really interesting. That's something I never thought about until you brought it up. But now that you're bringing it up, I do notice that actually.
Yeah. So again, this is just a theory. I'm not saying that's right. But yeah, I think going back to reverse colorism, it's just something we don't hear talking about. We don't hear like people talk about men who like really want to be dark skinned women, who really like prefer darker women. We don't
Yeah,
hear that.
yeah, they ignore that.
Mhm.
I always call that out. It's like they have a one track mind on the ones checking for light skinned women. And I don't know. I just think it's just a disingenuous conversation when people act like everybody in the community wants a lighter skinned woman. That is not true at all. Well, it's
Not
just
at
not
all.
true.
Okay, so shout out to you again, Chief Broker, for the 20. I appreciate you. It says it's not Jermaine's fault. I appreciate you. You're absolutely right. The 18th letter. Hey, good. What's going on? The 18th letter. Good to see you. It says this reminds me of the video you did when black women were upset and angry that the white guy picked blonde white women for all the 50 states he visited. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Do you recall that video? It went viral. Like, I think it went viral like 2 years ago. It was a black woman who went viral for reviewing. It was like this little young white Gen Zer who made a TikTok video about like dating a woman from all 50 states. And the women all had something in common. They were all like white girls. They were like white blondes or brunettes. And she kind of got on his case for being like, do you see how all these women are in common? And he was like, he couldn't date across the rainbow. Like, she was basically criticizing his dating preferences. So
Yes, I remember that. I'm always on TikTok, and
okay.
honestly, it's moments like that where I kind of understand excuse me for this, but there is a stereotype that women are dumb.
Oh.
I feel like that fits the stereotype because yes, people are gonna want their own community usually, and they just don't really connect the dots all the way. And I noticed that too. We even see this with like Travis Kelsey, where the
Girl,
black women are just like super territorial over like random white men. It's weird. It's very weird.
it is, oh my gosh. And I'm like, what's crazy to me? It was crazy to me how somehow black men got pulled into that whole thing. I remember when I posted the video like a few months ago of the black woman. She had to do some gymnastics to reach that far, but somehow she was able to blame black men for a white man proposing to another white girl. And I'm like, wow. That was the way she did it was so creative too.
Girl, that's literally a lot of Black women. They will go out of their way to just find a way to just randomly blame Black men. Yes, I noticed that.
Right. No, and listen, I mean, that's why, okay, and like I said, shameless plug, right? Shameless plug on that comment. If you haven't already got your copy, if it's not Jermaine's fault, please be sure to do so. But also, inspired by many recent events, please be sure to check out my newest book, Jermaine Did It Too. I need to work on my marketing, so y'all bear with me. I literally just dropped it today, but it's pre-order Jermaine Did It Too, and it's literally about teaching young Black girlies the importance of accountability.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's about a girl named Christina, a bright young girl with big eyes, big cheeks, and a bigger imagination. She loves to play and dream, but blames her classmate Jermaine whenever things go wrong. Right? So this story, Christina learns the power of taking responsibility for her mistakes and how that can lead to true happiness, better choices, and the courage to grow. So it's just a cute story of the power of accountability. Something that we've all talked about this. I'm sure you've addressed this too. It's something that ladies have a hard time doing, which is taking accountability for themselves. So if you haven't already, pre-order just dropped today. Jermaine Did It Too.
You ate that up. I'm so done.
And this is the initial one. It's not Jermaine's fault, which talks a little bit about Black misandry in the educational system, what it looks like for Black boys who are going throughout education and the things that they experience. And I got some feedback from Dr. Tiason Johnson, which was super helpful when I was putting together this book, because he helped me understand really what Black boys go through, going really all up until college. So yeah, so this is a bit of a series, but like I said, shameless plug on. I wanted to respond to this comment.
Oh my God.
So anyways, so yeah, no, I think you make a really, really, really phenomenal point about just how one-sided these conversations can be sometimes. And again, as I mentioned, I never want to downplay the impacts of colorism. I understand that it's real. I feel like, from what I've noticed online, particularly, I just feel like it's so often it's used as a way to gaslight, because all you have to do is talk to dark-skinned men and women who feel like they're having success in their life, and they won't point to colorism being the thing that kept them from being able to do it.
See what I mean? Like, exactly. The conversation is just so flawed and invalid. And honestly, I have to give you your props, because you were like the first person to kind of just like ask questions, at least from my point of view. I think you were. Like, were you?
Wait, questions with respect to what?
Oh, like you were the first person that I seen question the whole colorism conversation and how it's disingenuous, and it's not like, it's disingenuous online.
About the colorism, featurism, texturism. Well, honestly, what happened is, when you start to have these conversations with other people, when you start listening to what men are saying in different perspectives, and you understand how one-sided these things can be. And there are things that I believe to be absolutely true, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, that now I could look back and be like, oh, I was totally misguided. And it was just simply because I didn't have the information.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why your videos are they're super informative and just super helpful. And it's so dope how you have books. Like, you're inspiring me. I'm like, I'm not doing enough.
Oh no, I definitely appreciate it. It's a work in progress, and sometimes I feel like you just have to go with the inspiration. This, like I said, this literally just dropped today, inspired by recent events. So more to come on that.
Oh my God, I love it, because it really reminds me of certain YouTubers that are bitter. And you know what I mean? That's what they do. Everything is like blaming Black men. Like, Lord have mercy. It stops you from working on yourself as a woman. I've always said this.
You know, the thing I can say, I think one of the things, because there are many things that inspired this book, but one of the things that I think that really, really stood out to me is, I don't know if you saw, there's this meme floating around of, I think, Mount Ungrateful. I haven't covered it off yet, but it was basically like this mountain, and it had, I think it had Jada Pinkett Smith on it. It had Remy Ma, it had Michelle Obama, it had Aisha Curry. And there was this whole like comment of like, basically, here are like privileged Black women, successful Black women who are ungrateful, right? That's kind of like the whole premise around it.
Oh.
Now I'm not sure if you've had a chance recently to see the different controversy around Aisha Curry, Remy Ma. I don't know if you're familiar with any of those stories. But Aisha Curry, she had a interview that she did recently where she basically opened up and said that she initially didn't plan to be married and have kids, and how she was still in therapy trying to basically find her happiness, kind of thing. I don't know if you saw that live at all. But, and again, this is after her having had a history of different things that she said. And she'd had something she said a few years ago where she mentioned not getting attention from men and kind of feeling a little insecure about that. I know there was one video of her where she kind of like joked about taking her wedding ring off as like a handsome guy walked in. So there's kind of been there's been this theme of her kind of like questioning whether or not she made the right decisions. And the same was with Michelle Obama. You know, she's recently, I've kind of critiqued some of the things that she said recently, because there's this theme that I find of even privileged Black women who are in positions that your average woman, period, will never be in. They have access to wealth, access to people, access to institutions, environments, spaces, and places that your average typical person could dream of. Even some ladies who find themselves in that positions, you will find them, it seems like, bending over backwards or going out of their way to kind of like jab their husbands or jab the men who are responsible for giving them that position of status, of affluence, whatever. And so that's kind of like this theme that I saw when I was listening to these women. I'm like, wait, how are they're kind of like low-key, high blaming Jermaine. Like, oh, you know, like Michelle, she was talking about all the sacrifices she made and like wondering if it was possible, or if it, you know, sometimes she wondered if it was worth it. She feels like she kind of had to stunt her own success or whatever, or had to, you know, quench her own ambitions. And you're over here thinking like, wow, like she's ambitions, like you the freaking first lady of the free nation. You know what I mean? Like what? Huh? Like, what more ambition can you have? I mean, even outside of that, I mean, she'd had her own career outside of that. But yeah, I know I'm going on kind of like a long tangent, but it's just this idea of women, even in positions of power, who are kind of finding ways to be like, but I'm not happy and it's because of him, or I'm not getting this and it could be his fault. So that's somewhat a theme.
Oh, I have so much to say about that. I'm constantly talking about that. I think this new trend of women coming out, and just like doing this whole like I hate my husband thing.
I'm so tired of it.
I think
I'm tired of it.
I think it's a follower thing. I think that's the climate that we're in. Like we're in that whole like decenter men and just pretend online that you don't care about men and you're decentered from them. And my thing is, if these ladies are if they hate their marriage so much, then why are you with him? Like you're lying. Like your actions are not matching your words. You're still in the marriage. So stop coming to the internet presenting like you're just being fake on the internet.
So yes, I do think Game Changer, you're right. He says that what's going on, by the way, it says they are dog whistling to the sisterhood. Yes, to me, I definitely do feel like this is for clicks and views, because let's just be honest. First of all, I miss the era when like the wives of multimillionaires and billionaires just were like seen with pictures with like philanthropists, like hungry kids from Latin America or Africa, and that's it. Like they were just living their life, little PR photo, and then they flew in their private jet home. Like I miss those days. I don't want to hear the wives of multimillionaires or multimillionaires themselves go online and try to appease or appeal to the people that they don't want to live by. Like Aisha Curry was the same woman who fought against affordable housing in Atherton. So it's like, you know, they're kind of pushing this whole dog whistle sisterhood narrative thing. And I do think it's to try to appeal to the common man and women, women specifically, to get them to watch, get them to connect. But it's like, these are women who literally live a lifestyle that is completely disconnected from your average person, which is fine.
Yes.
Okay to be privileged. But I think it's honestly, I think it's disingenuous. Some of it I think is disingenuous. And some of it I also think is they just got the wrong people that they listening to. Like, there used to be a time where folks would just shut up. If they had their personal issues, they would work that out at home in the privacy of their own home, and they had a mama or an auntie or somebody with common sense that would kind of encourage them to do that. But now I feel like some of these ladies they have the wrong people in their ears, and they're using their whatever confusion or their insecurities or whatever, they're using it as a way to try to make money off of a market that profits off of misandry.
Yeah, what I call it now, and I think everybody needs to start calling it for what it is. These ladies are pick-me's, but for women. Okay, since they're always calling, you know, other women pick-me's, you're a pick-me. You're just doing it for the applause and approval of other women.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing men under the bus to get a high five from other women. So
yeah, no, that's actually, I mean, I didn't even think of it that way, but because I've heard, I mean, I've said that I think swirlers are the biggest pick-me's, right? But that's actually a good point. Being a pick-me for women, that's a whole other way of putting it.
Yeah, that's why you're doing it.
But the crazy thing about it is, like, here's another thing that I've kind of noticed about dating standards. It's like, why do straight women adopt, like, how do I put it? It's like, I feel like lesbian nationalism has dominated like the female heterosexual dating sphere.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, for example, why do women get out of their feet or get in their fifis when a woman says that she's male identified, right? Like, what's wrong with being a pick-me? Like, so I'd rather be a pick-me than pass me. Like, I don't understand. This, like, you saw that whole trend with the white toenails, the white fingernail polish, and like, if you're white, you have white fingernails, you're male identified. Like, you saw that.
I'm so tired.
Right? It's not crazy. So for me, it's like, okay, so you have all these terms: male identified, pick me, whatever, like all these disparaging, male centered, like these are all terms that are meant to be insults. And I'm like, these terms are actually just, it's describing heterosexuality. So we're trying to make heterosexuality appear weird and bad. And I'm like, to me, the only reason you would not want to be male centered or male identified is if you were lesbian. Like, if you weren't attracted to men and didn't like men or didn't really want to be around them, and you were like a radical lesbian feminist, then these words to you would be an insult. Okay, that makes sense.
Thank you.
But if you're not that, if you're a heterosexual woman, then you there's no problem with you being male identified. Like, well, who should you be identifying with if you're straight? You know what I mean? Like, who else would you be identifying with? Like, why is that an insult?
Yes, you explained this so well. The first time that someone called me male identified on, like, I think it was like Lipstick Alley, I was so confused, and I showed it to my husband. They were calling me like a pick-me, male identified. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this information? I'm straight. Like, am I supposed to like be like, no, please don't call me that, please? Like, no, I don't care.
Half of these women, I would even argue the majority of these women who are going online saying this foolishness would be quiet and would just calm down if they just had a man. I'm serious. Exactly. It's just it's giving femcel behavior. Like, literally, it's giving. You are a femcel. You want to get D down, right? And I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible. That's what you want, or pipe down, and you can't because you don't have a husband. You don't have a man in your life. So, and you're sexually frustrated. And the Bibles aren't doing it, and they're not doing it. I know they're not doing it because you're going on TikTok and you're complaining about how it's making you numb. And now you're having issues associated with that. So it's like, y'all are like femcells. This is like the big issue.
Oh yeah, I said I've been called these girls out. I stay on their neck, and I said, please stop. Like, stop with the words, because a lot of you guys are only like decentering men because men don't censor you, not a good one at least. As soon as a good man censors you, you're gonna be doing all the male identified pick me things that you're shaming the next woman that has a good man that she's doing that for.
You sure are. You are absolutely
So
about to do
stop.
that. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, can we like let's bring back like make straightness great again, okay? Like make like just being a straight heterosexual woman a good thing. Like this there's nothing wrong with
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with wanting. Like I did that post a few days ago. I'm like, okay, so when did like doing things for the male gaze become a bad thing? Like, isn't that what you did when you were single and you wanted a man? You did things for the male gaze. Duh. That's literally what you're supposed to do.
Yes, it's the most, no, seriously. It is one of the most stupid conversations I've ever seen in my life. This conversation we're having. And people actually take it seriously. And well, the ones that are preaching it, everybody else is like laughing. Like, you look crazy. Like, nobody's buying this. We know when you click off, you're not practicing what you're preaching. And then women will talk about decenter men, but all of their content is about men. Like, it's a clown show.
Listen, girl, okay, because I'm like, that's going to take me in a whole nother tangent. That might be another video, but let's just say there's, definitely content creators that you and I are both aware of that I'm going to be addressing in a further video that love to center men, but then pretend like they're decentering it. And it's
Thank you.
If your standard of everything is based upon what a man is not doing, then you're still centering men. You know what I mean? You're still centering men. That's okay. Shout out to Malarkey with the 15. It says good morning, Sister Shay Sade. Oh yeah, because you're coming from the UK. Just adding a few dusty British pound to the collection pot. Hope to follow suit by contributing a few dollars, subscribing, and liking this broadcast. God bless you. Thank you so much again. Shout out to you again. Thank you guys for all you guys for your
That go the money. That go the money.
So much. I appreciate it. Shout out to you. Okay, so all right, well, let me just get into this video real quick because I know we've been just chopping it up.
Okay.
Because I saw this and I was like, this looks interesting. I haven't even listened to the whole thing, but just like the topic looked good. Let's see if I can find it. Okay.
It's pretty girl.
It says, yeah, it's talk about ugly girl. First of all these terms, uglyism. Uglyism is one that I kind of made up because I'm like, I guess all connected. But ugly girl problems, pretty pretty privilege, dark skin privilege, brown skin privilege, featurism, texturism. Like, girl, it's like I need a dictionary just to describe what women are going through. But so yeah, so let's see what she has to say about the punishment. That's a new one for me.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh wait.
It's pretty girls in my comment section trying to convince me that being pretty is hard. And I am honestly, I don't understand how being pretty is a punishment. But what I can talk about is how being ugly is a punishment or being unattractive. Okay.
Also, Girly, if you want to stop at any time and chime in, you can let me know. I'm just gonna play. If you have something you're like, oh, I want to say something, you can definitely do so.
Okay.
Ugly punishment is not being able to have confidence in yourself because people will snuff that out. Ugly punishment is having a man force himself on you and trying to tell people and being told, well, you're not attractive enough for that to happen to you. Ugly punishment is having standards while trying to date and being told, take whatever you can get because you're not pretty enough to have standards. Okay. So the women who are trying to convince me that being pretty has a downside, outside looking in, from what I'm seeing, you're allowed to have confidence, you're allowed to have standards, and you're allowed to act however way you want because you're pretty enough for it. So trying to convince somebody that's not pretty by society standards I know on a personal level, some people do find me pretty, but per society standards, I am not pretty. Trying to convince me y'all had a hard time being pretty, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. It's just attention seeking, okay? And if being pretty was so hard, would you trade places with someone who's not pretty? Probably not, because you know you have more to gain by being pretty than you have to lose. But that's all I wanted to say. I actually wanted to start a new term, ugly punishment. I know most women won't come online and admit that they're not attractive because being pretty is currency for women. And unfortunately, I don't have that currency. So I will admit I am not an attractive woman, but it's okay. That's life. It moves on.
Oh my God. I
Okay,
have so
what do
much
you-
to say.
Okay, so what do you have to say? What do you have to say on that? She says, I agree, being pretty is it's
Oh my
it's
God.
not. She's like, this isn't hard. Game changer, she has a point. You know what this is reminding me of real quick, and then I'll let you go. It reminds me of Steph Curry when she did that video a few years ago where she was like, I don't have pretty privilege and it sucks. That's what this reminds me of. But okay, what do you have to say?
I have so much to say about this. I know by now with all the topics going viral, like that one lighter skinned lady, the older lady. I think everybody's kind of tired of the whole
The pretty, yeah, the one who talked about pretty privilege, that one. They were, oh my gosh, they were kind of going in. But she went out, she eventually went and apologized and was like, hey, y'all took this the way I wasn't going. She apologized about it.
Yo, I felt bad for her. I'm like, oh my God, leave this older lady alone.
Yeah, they were doing too much.
I know. But I think people are kind of tired of hearing pretty girls whine about how hard their life is. But the reality is everything in life has pros and cons. So there's actually pros and cons to being ugly. I would say the pro is when I go outside and I look raggedy, people leave me alone. Like, but when I look really good, I attract a lot of attention, people, creeps sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a privilege. People like, no, seriously, sometimes when I want to be left alone, I will purposely go out and look bad. So yeah, that's the pro of being ugly. And then with being pretty, yeah, there's pros and cons. This is proven in psychology. It's not even an opinion at this point. Everything has pros and cons. Like when you're pretty, yeah, there's privileges we all know about. But I would say the cons would be, and it's been studied in psychology, envy towards other women. You're gonna experience that competition with other women. So a lot of pretty girls are lonely because it's hard for them to make friends. It's easier for well, that's okay. That's like a different topic that I have to go like deeper into. But what's your thoughts?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Okay, you cut out for a second.
Oh no. Okay.
The last thing that I heard was it's hard for them to make friends.
Oh, okay. But everything else was clear, right?
Yeah, the most of it was clear. It was just the last part that you cut out.
Oh, I was just saying like that topic, it's a very detailed topic that I would have to go into. I think I said for pretty, so I don't know, for pretty women, I guess it's so hard to explain. Like they do attract more people in their life because they're pretty, but at the same time, it's just harder for them to keep friends because women are jealous and they don't want that pretty girl like around their man and stuff like that. So I don't know.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So now this is interesting. There's no pro privilege to being ugly. Right? Where it's just like, okay, so is there a privilege of being ugly? Really, this is what it comes down to me. It all boils down to attention. Women who don't think that they're pretty complaining that they don't have attention. Women who think they're pretty complaining that they have too much, right? Or women who are not pretty feeling like the quality of attention that they don't get is good enough. And that now you kind of enter into the femcel space, because if you actually deep dive femcels, you will see femcels are ones who are not happy with the kind of men that they attract. It's not that they don't attract men, it's that they don't attract the men that they want. That's basically classifies as femcel space. Whereas incels don't attract women, period. They legitimately don't have any interaction. So, but yeah, I think it goes down to attention. Who gets attention and who's getting the kind of attention they want. Like Aisha Curry, right? Game Changer mentioning Aisha Curry. She's a very attractive woman. I don't think anybody would look at her and say that she's unattractive, but she's not. Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry's accomplishments, you know, are high, right? Like they are unusual. They're the kind of thing where it's like, you know, people walking down the street, they're not gonna notice Aisha because of her looks. They're gonna notice her husband because of who he is. So, that I know she talked about kind of feeling invisible under her husband's success, and it's not because she's not pretty, but it's because she's not getting the attention that she thinks that she, or maybe was used to before he became, you know, a celebrity.
Oh, okay.
This is Womp Womp. Everybody has a beautiful soul. Anyways, but yeah. So for me, I see pretty privilege versus ugly punishment as attention. Who gets more attention and who gets the best kind of attention? Does that make sense, or do you think I'm missing it here?
Yeah, I think that's all that a lot of women whine about online is attention, attention. That's what all these conversations goes back to: colorism, uglyism, prettyism, and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, no, literally it's that. And that's what I saw somebody ask what uglyism is. I mean, literally uglyism is just whether or not you're ugly or not. I don't know how to put it. Like whether or not you are considered a person that is conventionally attractive or not. And I would also say that uglyism is not always just features. It's not always just aesthetically how you show up, because there are people who are actually physically attractive and then they open their mouth and they become ugly, or people don't like them, or people will other them, or people will kind of castigate them, brand them. So uglyism isn't always like aesthetics. Like there are pretty people who could fall, you know, physically pretty people who could fall under uglyism because they have bad attitudes. But generally speaking, it's just like, you ugly. So like everything that you complain about, feature, your skin, your hair, your texture, whatever, it's not really because dark hair in and of itself, or dark skin in and of itself, or kinky hair in and of itself, it's ugly. It's just because the proportions on your face are considered ugly. So that's I mean, that's how I would put it.
They don't like that, girl. They're gonna come for you.
No. Okay, Danger is saying no. He's like, ugly is physical, so you don't agree. I think there can be kind of like a metaphysical, intangible component of uglyism, in my opinion. But you're just like, no, uglyism is strictly aesthetic. That's fair. That's fair. But I'm just saying we're just defining it, right? Because this whole conversation of, you know, is colorism uglyism is this conversation of, okay, so is it true that dark-skinned women are not getting play? Is it true that dark-skinned women are not getting play because they're dark? Or is it that there are certain dark-skinned women who don't get play because they are just considered ugly? Not that their darkness is ugly, but it's just the darkness on how it shows up in them is considered conventionally unattractive.
Can I add to that, please?
Yes.
Because
yes,
it's reminding me of my experiences in school, where I'm piggybacking off of your question. No, they're not getting attention because it's something about them that men don't find attractive as a whole. And it's not you know, their skin complexion, because when I was in school, or the Black schools that I went to, there would be girls that were super dark and they were getting the cream of the crop, like in the schools. Yeah, like that was consistently happening. Like they were the it girls and they were very dark. Men wanted them.
I can remember one at the top of my head I can think of right now. Beautiful. She looked like a little, like, what they call a Barbie doll dipped in chocolate. She was that. Always had a flat stomach. Had, you know, multiple kids. She snapped right back. She's just a beautiful dark skinned woman who, by the way, only dated women, guys who were significantly lighter than her. Only dated light skinned dudes. But I can never think of a time, like, honestly, like I kind of still follow her from afar on my social media. Like, she's actually made money off of her looks. Actually, two, come to think of it, there's one who's dark skinned who may be considered a dark skinned Barbie doll dipped in chocolate who has more like alkaline features. There's another dark skinned one of my classmates, very, very, very dark skinned. She does not have alkaline features. I think she is like, I want to say she's first generation Nigerian. So she has like, you know, typical West African features, but she's beautiful. Like she has modeling contracts. Like her whole career is her looks.
Yeah.
I can just think anecdotally in my life, like really dark skinned women who I've never seen them complain about. If anything, like their businesses, their career, their adulthood has been built off of their looks as like unambiguously Black dark skinned women.
Yes, I'm glad you said unambiguously, because people swear that that means like unattractive. No, again, it's facial harmony.
Facial harmony.
Yeah.
I also, and that's a whole other tangent, like I also don't like how like there's this idea of like unambiguous Blackness that is very, I think, one-sided. Like even if you think of like the continent, right? I mean, that's literally one of the most genetically diverse places out there. And there are people who are like full-blood African who may have features that are naturally more alkaline or finer. You know, like there are people who are fully unambiguously Black who actually just happen to have a looser curl of hair. Like it's, I don't even like how even these ideas of being like a Black girl has such, it has, I feel like very limiting, quite frankly, I think like racist ideas of like what it means to be like a true Black girl. Like you're a pretty Black girl, it's only because you look white. And I'm like, that's hella stupid. No, you can be fully Black and look Black and have Black features and be pretty, and then has nothing to do with your proximity to whiteness. I don't know, it's just weird to me.
See, that whole conversation where they're just getting to like the nitty-gritty of it, that only happens like in the Black community. The whole world sees all of you guys as Black, including mixed people.
Right. No, literally. Yeah. I mean, I've talked about that. And I mean, I've been meaning to have that conversation. Like if you think of like white folk, I don't see white folk being like, oh, that's a lighter skin. No, that's a biracial. Oh,
Nope.
It's like he Black. Because he's not white. You're not blonde hair, blue eyes. Like you must be Black. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy. It's so easy.
Girl. It was a culture shock for me. I watched a video of this white man. He considered Cardi B to be Black. You know, Cardi B is Afro-Latina. Like when I tell you that everybody all lumps us together, it's only us dividing ourselves. You know what I mean?
And right. And that's why for me, I always look at it historically. I look at it as like, okay, so we're all back in the plantation. You're a house Negro, I'm a field Negro, but we're both Negroes. Okay, it's after the plantation, okay, Reconstruction era. You still drinking from the colored only fountain. You know what I mean? You're still not allowed in the shop.
That's what it's giving, the conversation.
Yeah, and so and like even historically, like if you look at like those who were considered, you know, mixed race or the lighter skin, they may have been given slightly more proximity as far as them not being seen as threatening as like a really, really dark skinned person, but they were still othered. And by the way, there were plenty of mixed race Black men who were given like the same typical ninja treatment that a dark skinned Black man, like plenty.
Yeah.
And you know, an Elia. I mean, if you think of like Frederick Douglass, I mean, he was like he was like mixed. Like if you think of some of the abolitionists, they were like technically mixed race people who were advocating for Black folks. So anyway, that's a whole tangent. I'm just saying, like, I think that the conversation is ridiculous when you actually line it up against history and what that has meant, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Right. So shout out to you, Game Changer. It says, as you said, it's about attention. Each of them can attract a man. It is about getting more. That part, literally that part.
Competition.
Yes. Again, if you look into femcells, I did this, I think about 2 years ago. I did a live on femcells and I compared femcells versus incels. And the main difference was, first of all, I was like, why don't incels and femcells like just get together? Like that would completely solve half of the problems on the internet. But the issue was men didn't feel like femcells were legitimate because like incel men were complaining that like women didn't give them attention, period. that women like didn't think that they existed. Like they were completely like it's like they didn't exist. They were completely invisible. Incels felt like that. And the issue with femcells is that they just didn't like the attention they got. That was it. So incels wanted attention and women just weren't happy. Femcells just weren't happy with the kind of attention they were attracting. So it's like, that's why they couldn't get along, because they were like, you don't understand my experience. You know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the Reddit, like the incels were getting mad. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was Reddit. I'm trying to think where. I just remember doing a deep dive on it, and if I was to try to summarize it in like a 2-sentence summary, like that would be the main difference between the femcells versus the incels. And I think that's what Game Changer is mentioning. He was like, "Oh, they get attention. Women are going to get it at any level, at any size, any stage of life, any phase. Like there's going to be some dude who gives some women attention. Like women can get attention. It's just, is it the kind of attention they want? Is it the attention from Chris Brown, the Chris Brown types? Or is it the dude, you know, standing next to the liquor store who's looking for a BBW to give him a place to stay? You know what I mean? Like the one that you put around. Okay.
Shady.
Yeah. So, okay. So anyways, but did you have anything? I know we kind of went in a little diatribe, but specific to this particular conversation with the ugly punishment, like what stood out to you initially?
Oh, wait, let me think about it. I'm trying to remember the video.
I need to play it again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna do part 2.
It's pretty girls in my comment section trying to convince me that being pretty is hard. And honestly, I don't understand how being pretty is a punishment. But what I can talk about is how being ugly is a punishment, or being unattractive. Okay? Ugly punishment is not being able to have confidence in yourself, because people will snuff that out. Ugly punishment is having a man force himself on you and trying to tell people and being told, well, you're not attractive enough for that to happen to you. Ugly punishment is having standards while trying to date and being told, take whatever you can get because you're not pretty enough to have standards. Okay? So the women who are trying to convince me that being pretty has a downside, outside looking in, from what I'm seeing, you're allowed to have confidence, you're allowed to have standards, and you're allowed to act however way you want because you're pretty enough for it. So trying to convince somebody that's not pretty by society standards, I know on a personal level some people do find me pretty, but per society standards, I am not pretty. Trying to convince me y'all had a hard time being pretty, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. It's just attention seeking, okay? And if being pretty was so hard, would you trade places with someone who's not pretty? Probably not, because you know you have more to gain by being pretty than you have to lose. But that's all I wanted to say. I actually wanted to start a new term, ugly punishment. I know most women won't come online and admit that they're not attractive because being pretty is currency for women. And unfortunately, I don't have that currency. So I will admit I am not an attractive woman, but it's okay. That's life. It moves on.
Well, first of all, her attitude sucks. It's very like depressing, negative, pessimistic. She could fix that.
Hey, can you explain more? It sounds like she was like clapping back at pretty girls in her comments who was saying that it's hard to be pretty. So it sounds like she was more reacting to them. What about you seemed like her energy was a little too sucky or just off?
Oh, okay. I didn't know this was like it might have been like a response video. I don't even know. It's really just her energy, like her aura. It's not up to be her facial expressions. But I mean, I see what she's saying. I like, yeah, there's obviously cons to being ugly, but she's A lot of unattractive women think that pretty women are supposed to have like a perfect life. Like you would be surprised how many of them think that. There's pros and cons to everything. I would say there is more cons to being ugly though, in my opinion. But like, what do you think?
So okay, so you would argue that it's like she mentioned in there, is a pretty girl gonna want to change places or spaces with a girl
Oh,
that's considered ugly? No. So you would
no.
agree that there are more privileges as a woman being considered pretty than not, just generally in society.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I'm so glad I came back and I cleared up my statement and I said, yes, there's definitely more pros to looking good rather than yeah, there's less cons to looking good.
Now, one thing that she said about this, well, there's a few things. There's a few things that stuck out to me, where she talked about being essayed, and then someone alluding to the fact that like, oh, someone wouldn't essay you because you're too unattractive. I don't know who she grew up around, the kind of environment. Like, there's a lot of questions that I would have, a lot of questions. So without knowing that, I'm left to fill that in. But that's obviously going to be like really traumatizing if you went through something like that and then someone kind of gaslights you. But with that said, like, first of all, there are obviously pretty women who can be essayed. We know that pretty and unattractive women are essayed all the time, because it's not about the looks. It's more about like usually the predator or whatever having a sense of control that they want.
Mhm.
Um, Secondly, another thing that really stood out to me in this video was where she said, ugly privilege is basically like you can't have standards, or people thinking that you can't have standards. And that's what I wanted to tease out, because I would never tell a woman who considers herself unattractive or thinks she's ugly, whatever. Like, I would never tell that woman to not have standards. I would just encourage her to try to be open to men who are on her level. And I think a lot of the challenges that I see today that are going on social media and just dating and modern dating in general is that women oftentimes think that they are better than the men on their level. They think that they deserve like the top tier men. They deserve the top, like it's almost like, there's a top 20% of men that every woman want. And even if women who are considered average or below average, they still want those men. And when they can't have those men, instead of being with men on their level or recognizing where they're at and making a deal with men on their level, they are maybe salty that they can't have those top tier guys. And so then they kind of be like, okay, I'd rather be alone, or they say the dating market sucks or whatever, or whatever it may be. And the reality is, for like the majority of human history, people have always married people of their rank, their social rank, their
Mhm.
class, people that they were around, because the proximity. And it's only been, I think, the last few decades in this modern era where ladies feel, I don't know if it's because of globalization, but ladies feel that somehow they should have access to the top tier men, when it's never been like that. Like the Cinderella stories, like don't really happen. It's a kid's tale for a reason. People marry in their class. They marry on their level. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yes. See, this is why I loved your channel because I just could not relate to the way the average woman, her thinking process was, because the average woman thinks like this lady. It's like, you're telling me to settle. And it's like, no, we're asking you, are you your type's type? The
Exactly.
man that you want has to want you also. That's, yeah, like that's all we've been saying.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Well, and Here's another thing too to consider. She said Cinderella was pretty. Yes. Again, these things rarely, really, really, really happen, right? But I'm like, even if you're pretty, that's step one. Can a pretty woman, attractive woman, have maybe more access to certain spaces and places? Absolutely, that can happen. But I think another thing that we forget, even if we kind of tease out this whole hypergamy thing, which is like literally jumping classes, right? You going from working class to upper middle class. First of all, like you have to have proximity to those places.
Mhm.
Like, it's not about just looking good, it's knowing where these people hang out. upper middle class or upper class people are not actively around working class individuals. They're not even in the same spaces. I mentioned Aisha Curry, who was, advocated against affordable housing in Atherton. And look, I'm not mad at that, right? She wanted to keep her place upper class. I'm not mad at it. But what I'm trying to articulate is upper class women are not going out of their way to be around middle working class women. So like there's a huge class component to consider. There's decorum.
Yes.
There's behaviors, attitudes that are all associated with class. And that is so missing from this conversation. Like women think just because they can beat their face, put on a little lace front weave, and seriously, and like dress nice, that means okay, now they're going to get them a high value upper class man. And it's like, well, do you even have access to where those men are at? Are you even around them? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, so that I think is something that is oftentimes very missed. College, I think that's why I remember Kevin Samuels mentioned this. He was like, college is actually kind of your best bet when it comes to having access to men of different, classes or different, just because, yeah, like that's going to be your best bet. Now I hear you say Richmond Pretty Waitress. Yeah, like I said, there are spaces and places. I'm saying that can't happen. But I'm like, if we saw that being more the norm, in my opinion, I think we would have think pieces on it. I think this would be studied in college. I think there would be a whole industry to prove this out. And I think by and large stats are pretty clear that people tend to date and marry within their class. I have to see if I can find that. There's a report that I covered off like a year or two ago where it talked about it looked at the ability to jump classes, and it compared Western nations, and it basically showed like America compared to other Western nations was like it was one of the places where it was the hardest for people to jump class. I have to find the report. I have to refine the report to kind of piggyback to what you were saying, Game Changer. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but like that's so rare. Like that's so rare. More often than not, sometimes a waitress will sleep with this rich guy, and they'll have flings. They'll have flings.
Let's talk about that.
That'll happen. But as far as okay, now I'm giving you my legacy, my name, I'm running businesses,
Yes.
I'm doing it. Because like I said, we're not talking about sexual access, we're talking about money, marriage, all of that. And I think that when you add that into it, that's a lot different.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what is the term called? Like classism? It's so many isms.
Well, yeah, classism. And that classism. That's like I said, upper class people are not trying to be around middle class. Middle class Negroes don't want to be around working class. They don't want to be around poor folk, especially if you grew up from the hood and you were able to get yourself out of that environment. They do not like being around sometimes their own family.
I was just thinking about this conversation, because the way people have always dated, and I feel like this is the best dating method, is just your environment and proximity, or just like wherever you frequent the most. I think this actually was proven statistically, like most people meet their partners at work. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Like oftentimes it'll be like a girl from the hood, again, thinking she can just put eyelashes on and a wig, and she's gonna get I don't know, this upper class guy. She may have sexual access to him. Oh my god, I was just thinking about this. But yeah, those men gatekeep who they give their legacy to. Like we don't talk about this enough.
Yeah, language we're not data. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I think we're talking about different things. Dating, eating, creating kids, different things. That's a whole different. A rich guy will definitely see a waitress that he may want to sleep with, have fun with.
Yes.
Maybe do a little sugar daddy thing. They'll have fun all day, every day. So I do not deny that. But what I'm saying is, you have all these hypergamy. This like the pipeline between hypergamy coaches and sugar baby is so like a blurry line. Because a lot of these ladies are basically doing that. They're encouraging women to be as cute as possible, which a lot of guys are cool with. Like the guys would love to have access to more prettier women. But then what that ends up being is that these women may sleep around. They may end up having a long-term situationship, be a sugar baby, be a little cute side piece, but they're not preparing for marriage. You see, and I'm about marriage. Yeah, as you're saying, a pretty secretary, and that's what I'm saying. All these things generally are very much associated with being nice side pieces. Look at Scandal. That's what Scandal was so popular about.
They're getting it confused, the type of attention. They're getting it confused.
Right. So I will say all day, every day, like, I mean, Bill Gates, that was the issue that Bill Gates had with Melinda. That's a prime example. Bill Gates and Melinda, they had their own contract. They had their own marriage. They had their own kind of marriage where she knew that he had his longtime mistress that she was an improvement of. Now they broke up because he was a serial cheater and he was sleeping with probably the waitresses and the people that he was, the secretary and the person that he would run across, the airline stewardess or whatever. So they ended up breaking up because he was a serial cheater, sleeping with women of all different classes and rank. But when it came to marriage, he had an agreement with another woman who came from a particular class, a particular family, because it was about the legacy. And even after the divorce, they're still very much in alignment with keeping that legacy. So there's different things, sexual access, having fun, situationships, the whole house husband, housewife without marriage is different than, okay, we're married legally, we're building a legacy, we're bringing together our resources, you're taking on my last name. Like, it's completely different conversation.
Yes, exactly. A lot of women are gonna fall for that trap. They're gonna get excited, because on dating apps you can access, there's access to a lot of, like, I guess, high value men or whatever, but they're gonna find out, kind of like what you said. Didn't you say, like, those men, they have communities where their community has already found them a wife? Didn't you just say that? Something like that?
Some of them, it's kind of, okay. Like, some people marry specifically for more political reasons. Historically in America, particularly among the upper class, marriage was always more about maintaining and managing wealth and access. So there was always, like, family legacy, politics, money, class associated with it. It wasn't just like, oh, we fell in love and that was it. Like, the whole love,
yeah, for sure,
is more of like it's kind of like more of like a modern construct. And the Dating Divide breaks this down. I covered this book off about, I think, again, about 2 years ago. I read that book and I broke down the different chapters, and they literally explained how dating itself was somewhat of a modern construct, and how marriage historically in America was closely connected to, like, the upper class, and it was a way that they would use to kind of manage, to gatekeep wealth, legacy, assets, and things like that. Poor people obviously married, but they married differently, and they didn't always marry. Yeah, they didn't always marry the same. They didn't marry the same way, So
yeah, you're having a very real conversation that can save a lot of girls. Nobody talks about this.
Yeah, Jack and Jill families. That's another thing. That's another thing. Again, you're talking about, like, the upper middle class, upper class. Like, I have family. I have a friend that I know who's involved in Jack and Jill, and she was telling me, like, I mean, they're not forcing it, but, like, she has another really, like, upper class Black friend, and they kind of joked that they're like, they try to get their families together, a lot, in hopes that their kids will marry each other. So they're kind of, like, planning in the back of their minds, like, we would love our kids. I don't think they're going to force it, but it's definitely kind of like this family pressure of, like, we would love our daughters to get together with your sons. You're around the same age. You guys are from the same class, So that's a very, very prime example. Jack and Jill, you have to be, like, invited into it. There's, like, fees that you have to pay. It's like a social club. It's like a social club. It's the elites of the elites, and you only gain access to that if you can. So,
yeah. I was curious. Did you think that was the case with, like, Travis Kelce? That whole conversation, like, I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Wait, say that again.
Do you think that our conversation applies to Travis Kelce? Like, he was, like, sleeping with the Black women?
Oh my gosh. You're saying it's like, there's so many different angles. So I've heard, I've heard, yeah, like that's a good, yeah, Eddie Murphy's son, Martin. Yeah, they grew up in, and some of this too, like I said, is proximity. That's why I encourage women, you know, find the men in your level, because in most instances, let's say you grew up in a working class, you're in a working class environment. The likelihood of you meeting working class men is 10 times higher than you meeting a man who's like in the upper class. Now you can meet a man in the upper class if you change your environment and do different things or whatever, but I'm just saying like it's some of this is just strictly like proximity too. Like who you're around is what people are usually gonna, you know, start with. And that goes for rich people. If you're a rich person and you're around predominantly other rich people and that's your environment, then you're going to generally look in that sector, right? Unless you have experiences that are unique that connect you with something outside of that. Okay, but yeah, I just thought that was a really good point. Okay, so back to what you're saying about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. So, oh my gosh, I've heard so many different things. First of all, I feel like Black women are hella triggered. Black swirlers specifically. I don't want to say all Black women because I don't think you're triggered. I couldn't care less. I talk about it just because it gives me AdSense dollars. I could not care less. Black swirlers are really triggered by it.
They are.
I will say that like the whole Taylor Swift thing, her dropping the lyrics that were basically, she was doing the whole white girl shade thing to Kayla Nicole. I think that was all a business move. Like Taylor Swift is a multimillionaire, almost soon to be billionaire to my understanding. And she's that for a reason. Like she has marketing teams, business teams who know exactly what to do to have people talking about her and getting her more streams. So I think that that whole lyric and the whole drama and stuff was all about her wanting to get traction around her album. Now, as far as like Travis Kelce leveling up, what's very funny is I had one of my friends who came on a few years ago. Again, another white blonde, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl. My friend Laura came on, and we talked about swirling and divesting. And in that conversation, she mentioned something about white men, and she says, you know, my experience, white men, they generally choose winners. And what she basically said was like all the white men she knew were hypergamous. In her own life, she's like, I've known white men to choose winners. She's like, I know this is my experience. I know this isn't every situation, but she's like, from what I've seen in white men, they do choose, like they choose winners. Like they choose something that is, you know, going to elevate them in some capacity. That's going to like lift them up. This is what coming from my white friend. I'd have to see if I can find it. So when I think about what, you know, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, I mean, I just think honestly, I think they look good together. Like just from an aesthetic standpoint, like they look great together. They look like they're from the same community. They are. So I'm like, I could see how they could just really match just coming from similar communities. And also like they both already had great careers, but Travis Kelce getting with Taylor Swift has like put his career in a whole nother level. Like
Oh yeah.
So like, I felt like it's just a win for him in so many ways. Like, just career-wise, it's a win. Not that he needed her money, but it doesn't help for him to have these opportunities and have these different things. So career-wise, it's a level up. And then also, it's just like, they come from the same community, right? And it's like, I mean, she's freaking Taylor Swift. Like, she's pretty much like a goddess in the white community. Like, girlies and Asian girls, they like freaking worship the ground that she walks on. So as far as a status symbol, if he's a guy that, you know, I'm sure every guy wants to feel like they have a trophy wife. That's what he got with her. Like, that's what he got with her. So I don't know the inner workings of their heart. I don't understand the inner workings of their heart, but he certainly didn't date down. That's for sure. And
no.
I don't understand the need for people to try to somehow downplay or downgrade or try to minimize what's going on between the two. I think they look cute, and I'm happy for both of them.
Yeah.
Anyone would have chose Taylor. I'm like, literally, it's Taylor Swift. Hello, she's like a goddess in his community. Literally that. And their careers both. It's great for both of their careers.
I think I had said, yeah, I mean, if you compare like his exes compared to Taylor, it's like drastically different because they were just like some silly BBL models on Instagram, not really, I guess, adding value. So that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing about it, like people, first of all, like I mean, I haven't done like the deepest dive into his dating history, but I mean, he's dated, to my understanding, different races of women. Like, and I think ladies also don't understand that. Like, there are dudes out there, there are many guys out there who just like pretty women. So it's completely feasible for me to recognize that there could be a white guy that is sexually attracted to black women, but at the end of the day wants to get with a white girl who can procreate kids that remind him of his family, that remind him of his mom,
Yeah.
remind him. And I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what Travis Kelce was thinking, but that wouldn't be surprising to me if that's what he wanted. If he wanted a little grand, child that reminds him of his mom or his great grandmother, whatever, like that seems normal and natural.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like there's more that goes into marriage, and I'm sure you can attest to this. There's more that goes into marriage than like, oh, she thick, right?
Exactly.
Or her body T. Okay, Kay Nicole's body is T. That's fantastic. And there's women out there whose body is T. Your body being T does not maintain the strength of like a long marriage. Like there's so much more that goes into it. Looks are just like step one. That's step one. That's it.
Oh my, I stay telling the girls this because every time like there's competition with a man, all they talk about is the way the girls look. And that's it. They don't talk about nothing else. It's a bunch of single women talking about this, and it's just not a constructive conversation. Looks get you in the door somewhat, but your insides and who you are, personality keeps you there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. Like, and that kind of shows me too, like people who have these conversations, it's very obvious to me that they're not really in relationships like that
Yes.
to really know. Because if you were in relationships, you would know that that's literally like it's not minimal. Like it is important. Like a man doesn't need to be attracted to a woman, his lady, especially if he's in a high profile job where he's constantly around attractive women or that he's constantly around temptation. Like that's super important. But that's not gonna be what's gonna hold him like down, right? It's not gonna be because your body T. Like it's who you are, the value that you're adding to his life, like the peace that you're bringing, the respect that you give him, the nurturing of the vision. Like there's so many different things that are intangible that you can't get just by going to the gym or just because you on the stairmaster, which I support all of that. Go on the stairmaster, go to the gym, but like that's not what people marriage.
Yeah, I mean, again, that'll probably well, see, if you got the looks, but your insides are terrible, you go
Right.
into the what did we say? Like the sexual category with men.
I
What
mean,
was
for
it
me,
called?
it's like, I mean, there's different terms for it. For me, it's just like a side piece, sugar baby, hit it and quit it.
Exactly.
And I feel like dudes know super early on. Like I feel like they categorize you out the gate. Like, okay, this is like wifey material, or no, this is just fun.
No, for sure, because it's very easy. Because as soon as women open their mouth, I mean, we see it all over TikTok. It's garbage out of their mouth. They're saying nonsense, and the man is like, "Yeah, nope, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna sleep with this one, and yeah, this is not my wife."
And the thing about it is, ladies don't. Guys know that there's a difference between sexing a woman and marrying a woman. Guys know that. I think there's a lot of ladies who are completely clueless, and they think because they get sexual attention, that means something more than it does. That's a whole other thing.
Oh, for sure, absolutely, yeah.
Mindset lasts longer than looks. Yep, that's it. And I think another thing, and maybe men could speak to this more, but I think like yeah, looks can be important, and they are important to dudes. But I think what's even more important is loyalty and respect.
Hmm.
Like if a lady, I think shows loyalty and respect to his man. I think that is golden. This is why you'll see guys who like celebrities or actors or actresses, or, you know, sometimes NFL players, sports people or whatever, who they'll propose to their woman, and then girls in the comment section like, oh, she ugly, or she got a flat this, or she this is not, and they're shading his look, they're shading the woman's look, but they don't recognize what she brought to him. They don't recognize, you know, the intangible value that she brought to that man that is more meaningful to him than her immediate looks. You know what I mean? Especially if she was with him when he was going through those different struggles. That is so much more valuable than her body being tea, in my opinion.
They do this every time, and it drives me crazy. And I can tell, just like how they call women pick-me's, those are the skip-me's that all they do is focus on looks, and they take it so seriously. Like, or, you know, when a guy like leaves or cheats on like a beautiful woman, they go, how can you do this? She was beautiful. It's more to a relationship than being pretty. Like, oh my gosh, that's like, never mind.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. You're right. You're absolutely right. Like I said, there's so much more that goes into it. So, yeah, you see Rise of the Black Nerds. That's funny. Yeah, so well, I know it is getting super late for you because it's almost 10 o'clock over here, and I'm like, it's almost 10 o'clock over here. I don't even know what is going on over there for you. So I'm like, look, I was trying to keep this under an hour, but I know we just kept on the yapping. But is there anything else that you want to add or speak to, or like something else you wanted to mention that we haven't covered off?
That's a good question. No, I was a little bit curious about the other videos, but like if it's a time limit, then yeah, it's good.
No, it's fine. If you have, I have a few more minutes. If you have any specific questions that you wanted to ask, or you have a few more minutes. I just want to be mindful of your time.
No, I don't think I have any questions. Like, this was a really good conversation.
Oh, are you talking about you wanted to play some of the other videos?
I was curious about it.
Yeah,
That's about it.
I can play it. Okay, let me see. Okay, so you said everything you wanted to say about the ugly punishment.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see this one. I think this one was on there's more to list.
Girl talking about dark skinned girls.
Yeah, so dark skinned women are ugly, right? So yeah, this is another one that I brought up. Okay.
My take on the video of, you know, the girl talking about dark skinned girls not being pretty. And before y'all rip into me, stay with me. I know y'all gonna be like, you're a defendant. No. Just stay with me. The truth is, after like watching her video, and honestly, the first time I heard it a couple of days ago, I ignored it and skipped past it because I honestly, maybe as a darker girly and just the complex I have, and just after my experience as a darker skinned woman or whatever, brown skin, whatever, same shit. I try not to feed into the rage baity type of things, but also I try not to feed into a certain level of ignorancy. And I'm gonna tell you why I find this ignorant, but I'm also gonna tell you the harsh truth. I understood what she was saying though. Essentially, she was just simply saying that she only wants a certain type of dark skin to truly be displayed in order for people to consider that said dark skin woman or dark skin woman to be attractive. So literally only one form of beautiful, one standard of beauty needs to be upheld for a dark skinned woman. Now, I said I understood, never said I agreed. But let me tell you where the issue may come in. The truth is, there has always been a limited scope for decades, and I've been on this planet for damn near 3 decades, and I'm gonna be very real with you. There has always been a limited scope for black beauty, especially darker skinned black beauty, even brown skinned black beauty, right? And here's what I mean by that. First and foremost, you cannot have certain features as a darker girl versus a lighter skinned girl, even though you guys are both a part of the same race. And I've seen this happen in so many different ways, but the primary way, so people know I'm not lying and I know for a fact I'm not tripping when I make this observation, I know sisters, one is dead ass like the color of my palm, and the other one is literally darker than me, right? Like way darker than me, and they literally look very much so alike. However, for some reason, I've noticed that like in this girl's like family, like the lighter skinned sister who was also younger would always, by younger I mean literally like 2 years younger, right? And like I would always like see her getting the most compliments for her features. I recall one time the darker skinned sister crying to me because I was like really acquainted with her, and she's just kind of like, yo, all my life they've been doing that. I remember one day I was like over at her house type of shit, and like I literally heard one of the relatives say some wild ignorant shit. Like one of the relatives was just like, oh my gosh, like, you know, it's so crazy, you and your sister like literally don't look alike at all. And I'm looking like, huh? And if I'm gonna be very real with you, in my opinion, I'm gonna be real, they have the same features, only different, like, because they have both the same parents. Like I said, they're not too many far years apart, if that made sense. Anyways, just overall, literally y'all, down to even the hair texture. And so I am like looking and I'm like, what is that? And that is what you call privilege, right? To some degree, that is the peak of colorism and said featurism. You are not allowed to be black. We're not allowed to be black, or you're not supposed to be black enough being a dark-skinned woman, dark-skinned person. Like, it's offensive for you to be in your ultimate blackness or to even possess certain levels of blackness in terms of features, color, because it is outrightly offensive. Now, the reason why it's offensive, it's obvious. Racism and everything that falls under the umbrella of racism, right? History, yeah, we get it. But going back to present day and what we're talking about, it's mindsets like this. Now, what she should have said, and what I would prefer to hear, and the point that she should have really stuck on, was we just need more diversity in features in terms of what people consider attractive for a darker skinned woman. Hence why I called her ignorant. It was a clear distinction of who can articulate versus who can't. Because, I mean, come on now. Her being the skin color she is, and her being a very much so average looking woman. Not ugly. I mean, a lot of y'all be calling her ugly. I don't necessarily think she's ugly. But very average looking, I should say. Could never be saying that dark skins are ugly. Yes, she did point out and saying that not every dark skin girl is pretty. Y'all just be trying to give them props for being pretty because they're dark. Da-da-da. All right. Let's touch on that. It's very annoying to me when y'all don't want to believe or do everything in y'all power to, like, honestly, it's the same level of annoyance I feel when people just be calling light-skinned girls pretty just because they're light-skinned. It's obvious. Y'all have this thing where it's like when people generally find somebody who's darker or a black person with certain features, right? Black women specifically, I should say. Y'all just always want to negate debate and configurate and dismantle the opinions of others, even if it's in a general consensus, meaning like for every 10 person, 8 out of 10 don't find this dark-skinned girl chop. But for some reason, because a selected few of y'all find the dark-skinned woman chop, it's like y'all have to convince the world it. And that in itself is a form of illiteracy. Emotional illiteracy, and maybe even mental illiteracy, meaning like you may be insane. And while I don't agree that only certain dark-skinned girls should be pedestalized for the look, or rather, I am not going to negate or debate that she does have a point. I do only primarily see certain dark-skinned women with certain features being pedestalized. I'm not trying to sit here and say those women are not attractive, but that in itself has an agenda for why they are only promoting us.
I mean, I think
In the media, of course.
I don't know. That was kind of a longer one. There's still like 3-4 minutes. Do you want to play the rest of it, or you got pretty much the good sense?
I think she lacks social awareness. She's so long-winded. Like, oh my God.
So, okay. So was that what was there anything about what she said, like as far as her points, that stood out to you, that you agree with, don't agree with? You think the whole thing is just cap,
I
or
all of the above, to be honest. I have so many questions. Like, what was the original conversation? Dark skinned women are like,
okay?
I'm
That's
confused.
what I was saying. I was trying. Was his dark woman or ugly? So, okay. Do you remember that video that went viral a few months ago of a black woman who was saying that not all dark skinned women are pretty, and she was calling out Lupita?
Oh yeah, that girl. Okay,
Yes. So
yeah.
I think I'm not sure exactly because I was trying to figure out what video, but I think she's referring to her because of the reference point. Because she's like saying like to the other content creator, like I understand what she was saying about dark skinned women, like we need wider representation, but she just didn't say it the right way. So I think she's referring to her.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was a little bit confused by the conversation.
Okay,
Um,
so sorry, it was hard to follow what she was saying. I think what I got from it was that basically there, how do I put it? She used the example of two sisters, a sister who was dark skinned, a sister
mhm.
who was light skinned. She claimed that they had basically similar features, just one showed up in a different complexion. And she used that explanation to say that the darker skinned sister, although she had identical features to her lighter skinned sister, did not get the same amount of play, did not get attention because she was dark. Right. So she was making
Yeah.
that kind of comparison. And then she wanted to talk about
Mhm.
how basically black folks like to gaslight dark skinned black women out of their experience. Basically saying that, oh, just because there's a few of y'all who have reverse colorism, there's a few black men who prefer dark skinned women, that negates our undesirability. That's basically what I was gathering from what she said. That's what I was gathering.
Oh, okay. I have a lot of questions. Number one, I would like to see these sisters.
I was thinking
Um,
that too. I was thinking that too because I'm like, similar features are not this. They're not identical.
that's
There's
not the
so
same.
much to consider. They same height, weight, dress size. Like, does one have longer hair, shorter hair? How do they wear their hair? Makeup, is one natural? Is one not natural? Um, like personality, is one open? Is one closed? Does one feel confident? Like, there's so many things.
Yeah, or she could just be exaggerating it. But again,
Yep.
um, I don't mind. Like I always say, again, okay, there's like so many examples to this conversation. The school that I went to, like I said, there were darker skinned girls that were sought after, praised, put on a pedestal. But if a lighter skinned girl just so happens to be put on more of a pedestal too, um, I don't mind that. I don't think it should only like I don't really care. Um, and I can't personally relate to this conversation because I've had like lighter skinned friends and I've never felt like they got like just an overpower like just way more attention than me. We
Girl,
were both very
yes.
attractive.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
yeah, no, because I've like when I've heard. Well, I'm sorry. I want to let you finish before I want to let you finish your point before I jump in because I have a lot
Oh no, I want to hear your point. Like I pretty much got it out.
Okay, so okay, on the whole, like you don't want to hang out with people who are darker than you. You don't want to hang out with people who are prettier than you. I honestly never heard that until I went to YouTube. That was the first time I heard these kinds of crazy ideas. And what also stuck out to me when I started to dig a little bit deeper into women who felt like they didn't have pretty privilege, or women who kind of felt like they were dealing with uglyism, there was this one thing that I noticed all the time, and that was them comparing themselves to people or friends that they felt prettier. And the way that they would deal with this is sometimes they would just, some of them would be like, you just kind of, you're an acceptance in it. I've heard some content creators go out of their way and say, oh, don't hang out with people that are prettier than you or who are lighter skinned than you or who whatever. And it's this whole idea of like, if I feel that her beauty is going to outshine mine, then I can't go step out. I can't be found with him. And I had never ever heard that ever until YouTube. I have white friends. Like I've heard some black women be like, "Oh, don't go out with white women because of because our white women are always going to be intimidated by your beauty." Never had that. I've had plenty of white girlfriends and they'd be like, "You're beautiful. You look amazing. Wow, you're gorgeous," or whatever. You look great in that. Women, I feel like to me, like I've had friends who I think are positive. So like I could compliment a friend and it doesn't take away from what I feel or vice versa. Like it wasn't this weird sense of competition. It was like, yeah, my friend over here is blonde. This one's a brunette. This is a white girl. That's a Latina girl. But it wasn't like, I don't know. I think I never identified. I don't think I ever identified with this sense of a beauty competition when I go out. I never thought, that's not how I looked at my friendships.
Thank you. I can totally relate to that. I actually have a video about that, and I think it's a really good video because a lot of darker skinned women come online and say the most weirdest things, like and I unpacked how a lot of the times this is just their insecurities speaking. This isn't like, you know, factual information. Like I think I unpacked how darker skinned girls will be like, "Oh, she thought she was better than me because she was light skinned." Whole time the girl never said that. That's what your insecurities in your head said.
Never, ever, at all. At all. You know the crazy thing about it too? So I grew up in a household of all women. I mean, I had my dad, but I only had sisters, right? So all sisters. I have a sister who's darker than me. I have a sister who's lighter than me. So I'm in the middle as far as skin tone. I cannot remember one conversation when we sat down and like bickered about skin tone. I cannot remember one at all. And we've had plenty of conversations, right? And we don't get, you know, you understand each other. Sometimes you have little, you know, I mean, that's whatever, sister stuff. But I'm like, overall, like I love my sisters to death. But it's never like, I've never felt like we were competing over who had better, more attention. Not once. Not once.
Exactly.
So that's how I was like, what are these conversations? I literally could not resonate at all. And even when I hear women today complaining about feeling like they don't want to, you know, fear of like, oh, white women are, I'm competing with white women, so I can't go out with them, or I can't be friends with them, or what, like whatever caveats women have of women they can't be around because ultimately they don't feel that they show up in a pretty package. I don't know. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, I seen one content creator that's coming to mind right now. She was talking like that, and she basically she does these very weird rants telling black women that white women are your enemies, they're jealous of you, they want to be you. I'm like, where is this coming from? So I'm just assuming all of this stuff is coming from these girls' insecurities in their head.
Right. Well, no, I'm saying, was this a content creator? Because it's actually a topic I'm going to be addressing soon. But was this a content creator you saw doing this?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is like, and that's what I was saying. Like this competition that black women have with white women, I feel like it's largely one-sided, like super one-sided.
I said that before. Yeah. It's extremely one-sided. It's embarrassing. It's like white women are actually not really worried about black women. Like, I'm sorry.
Thank you. They're really not. Like even Taylor Swift, the whole thing I posted was like, black women are saying that Taylor Swift is obsessed. And I'm like, I actually think Taylor Swift is very confident and comfortable being a white blonde because that's made her a multimillionaire. Like she literally has become a celebrity off of being just that, like a really white girl. Because like Taylor Swift is hella white. Like she's not trying to be anything other than like a white girl. And that is marketable. So like, I think she's okay with that, people. Like, I think she's an acceptance of that.
I think a lot of women are actually projecting. So it's black women that are in the competition with white women. And yeah, they're projecting.
Would you say, because you grew up in a very, you said Bay Area, I understand, like that's, the Bay Area, it's very diverse, right?
Yeah.
To everything. very multicultural. Yes, there are definitely segregated pockets. Like, I will not hold you. Like, there's definitely segregated pockets, but by and large, you're gonna see everything. You can eat everything, all of that. Would you say in your experience, like, you felt like that, or that was never like a thought for you growing up?
Okay, I'm gonna be so real with you. Like this whole entire topic, like colorism and oh, white women are secretly envious of black women. That was never like a concept until I went to the black community. That's when I seen like, oh, this is something they really focus on. Because no, I've never felt like that around white women. No. No.
And when you say the black community, let's be specific. You mean black women, or were black men included in that?
I went to I guess you can say predominantly black school. Like, I would say, I don't know, like in late middle school.
Okay.
And that was the first thing that I noticed. It was the open conversation. Everybody was just so obsessed with like skin and, yes, it was both. It was on both sides. Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't just black women. Okay. Because me personally, like, I can't think of a time where I can recall black men. You said the Bay is different than the South. No, she grew up in the Bay. But the South is totally, the South is like a whole different world out there. But yeah, because I remember you would mention growing up in California, which I was like, okay, I'm in the Bay Area too, so I know how it is out here. But yeah, I've never really heard men, I feel like, talk about it like that. I believe you. I'm just saying, in my experience, like, I can't recall that being like a huge thing other than men talking about their preference, maybe like what they like. Like, I had a cousin of mine who married dark-skinned black woman who married a black man who was into reverse colorism. He only liked dark-skinned women. That was the thing. So I can remember like black men as far as like being like, oh, I really like him dark, or but outside of that, like, I don't know, it just wasn't as big.
Well, I meant like I don't even know how to explain it. I think I don't even know. Never mind.
That's okay. There's not a right or wrong answer. I just didn't know if you ever grew up feeling as if like white women were competing with you, or you felt like you had to compete with them, whether it was in the beauty Olympics or just overall your existence as a woman. Like, if you
that's what I was trying to explain when I said never mind. I was trying to remember what we were talking about. So those types of conversations only took place in the black community. When I lived around like white people, I guess, I noticed that like they didn't really think about like black people. They weren't beefing with black people. I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, they just. Did you notice that too?
Okay, so like you said, white women are not over here bothered or threatened by black women. That's not a thing. That is a thing in people's mind. They are very comfortable and confident being white.
Yeah.
Now, I think the only exception of that is if like there's racism, right? Like, and that's a real thing. Like, racism is a real thing. I've experienced that in the Bay Area, by the way, like in communities in the Bay Area. So that's real. But outside of people who are just like blatantly racist, or don't like, if they like, outside of those people who just like don't like black people or don't like whatever, if they're just like regular cool folks, like, they're not, like, you're not a thought in the back of their head constantly, like they're trying to compete with.
Like how it is for black women. Like, black women are constantly thinking about white women, and it's one-sided.
Right. That's exactly that's what I'm trying to say. But let me say this. I really think, this is my theory, I really think this specifically applies to black women who want white men and to be integrated into white spaces. Those are the kinds of black women who I think are who are the most cognizant of this. Because think about it, if you want to be Mrs. Cartwright, right? Or if you want to be Mrs. Ann or whatever, if you really desire that position, then the women that you believe hold that position are your competition. They are. Now, Oh, North Oakland. We got a lot of Bay Area people in here. Hey, what's going on?
Oh.
That's why they're up with me. Yeah. Oh, North Oakland has like some of the best Ethiopian food. But anyway, that's a side note. I love Ethiopian food. But yeah. So that's my theory. Like, if you're a Black woman who wants to be in white spaces with white people, you want a white man. White women are your direct competition. If outside of that, if you don't really care, like, if you're like really into Black men, that's who you want to be with, then you don't have the same, like, they don't bother you. It's not an issue at all. You're like, okay, whatever. Like, you're over there, I'm over here, and we can coexist. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just very obvious. You can tell when a Black person has basically like never lived outside of their own community. You can tell.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or they're not, like, as I mentioned before, they don't have regular experiences with other cultures, and so they have ideas that are based purely upon fantasy or purely upon whatever they've seen online or news. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyways, well, okay. So I mean, I think that's the only other video that I think I pulled up for tonight. Let me see. I mean, okay, let me say, I can share this last quick one. This one is, I think, literally only like 30 seconds, so I can share it. Let me see. This one is, okay, Black men hating Black women. So this is a dark-skinned Black woman who says that dark-skinned or just Black men hate her.
And in my comments making fun of me because I have dark skin. How can you say I look like midnight 12 p.m. when you're in my comments looking like 11:59?
All right, so she's saying that there are Black men in her comments making fun of her skin. What are your thoughts on that?
Wait, one sec, sorry.
It's okay. See what's
I'm doing a bathroom break.
Oh, it's okay. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you up. I know it's kind of late. So, what are your thoughts on that? What you just, I guess, if any, on what she just said, or I can play it again real quick.
The Black men in my comments making fun of me because I have dark skin. How can you say I look like midnight 12 p.m. when you're in my comments looking like 11:59?
Okay. So again, I'm the type, I like to investigate further. So first, I would like to see the people making fun of her in the comments.
Okay.
And secondly, I'm sorry, but I can see why she's getting made fun of. She is not attractive. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
You just said she's not attractive. Oh my gosh. You said midnight is 12 a.m., not 12 p.m. You said midnight is 12 a.m., but I think she's trying to go. Okay, so, I personally, I steer very clear. I think as a woman, like, I steer very clear from, like, rating women. I think, I don't know, there's just something in me, like, psychologically that feels, like, unwell rating woman being like, she's attractive, unattractive. Like, that's just me personally. So I tend to leave that up to the consumer. Because I'm not a lesbian, I usually like won't comment on a woman's looks on them. I'm like, okay, you know what? I think it's better for men who are attracted to women, or those who are the most likely to want to like date women romantically, to like weigh in. So that's my caveat. That's how I back out of being like, she pretty, she's not pretty. With that said, as I mentioned before, the whole topic of uglyism, I believe there's like a metaphysical or more of like a intangible component to it. I know I had Game Changer in the comment section who was like, that's not true. But when I think of uglyism, I think that there's like a physical component, but there's also a psychological, emotional component of it. So a woman can be considered physically ugly and have an ugly personality. It's all bad. A woman can be considered physically pretty by men or by the opposite sex or people who she's attracted to, and have a ugly personality, and that kind of mess it up. So like you, I would want further investigation into knowing who she's talking to, the context. This is me assuming that it's not a troll, because there are people who are trolls there. but then on further investigation of like, okay, if you're a dark-skinned Black woman and you always feel like this, you always feel like Black men are othering you, then I'd also want to further investigate why. I don't think I
Well,
can believe that. Uh-huh.
yeah, just naturally me, I am a critical thinker. So the first
Yes.
thing I do is investigate, ask questions, just no matter what the topic is.
Right.
Secondly, I want to also bring up this girl is the same shade as that supermodel Anoki.
Yes.
And
Gorgeous. Yeah.
I constantly see Black men, you know, drooling after her, at least in the comment sections. She's getting no problem, no issues. You see what I mean? Do you
Yeah.
see why I just
Yeah. I do.
yeah. So this girl, in my opinion, um dang, should I be brutally honest? I think her face looks rough. I think she's not attractive and she has a very manly face. That's just my opinion though.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, we're we're here having conversation. I mean, the thing about it is, how do
They
I?
shouldn't make fun of her skin though, so I'll definitely, if they are doing that, then I think that they should be held accountable.
Yeah, again, I don't know the context of the conversation. I just know that she was calling out Black, because it literally says Black men hating Black women, right? So this is like, and I'd have to further investigate on her channel and see if this is something that she consistently talks about. But y'all, you guys in this comment section, like
What are they saying?
they're in agreement with you.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
this one
okay.
says,
So
I
I'm
like
not
this
tripping.
woman. The people are like they said, yeah, they're in agreement with you. I'm the one that's just like, look, I'm not gonna sit here and rate women. I just can't do that right now. I'll let the consumer judge, and that's what it is. Now, with that said, you're right. Like, you have to investigate further. And you can't always just take these things on basic level. But do you know what this kind of shows me too? Going back to what we said before, I think we have to be in acceptance that just how like not all men can be rich, not all men can be tall, not all men can be celebrities, not all men can be 6 feet. The same way, not every woman can be a princess, not every woman can be beautiful, not everyone can be a supermodel, not every woman can be a 10. Like, if we can accept that there's limitations for men, we can also accept that there are limitations for women. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, no, see, this is my thing. It's like dark-skinned women, again, they blame everything on their skin. They can't just accept the fact that there are ugly dark-skinned women. To me, this is an unattractive dark-skinned woman. And I was talking with my friend about this topic. She said, and actually I can agree, the ones that were getting bullied in school, they were not attractive. The dark-skinned girls, they were not attractive. The
Now,
attractive ones were not experiencing that so
now,
much.
no, the attractive. I mentioned to you too that I know off the top of my head who I still follow, who they've made their career as adults off of their looks. These are like Anoki, like dark skinned Black women, like
Yeah.
very very very
See?
dark. And one may be considered like a dark skin, like what do they call it? A white girl dipped in chocolate. Like, she's purely Black, but her features are more finer. Proportionate. Another one has like a wider nose, full, like she has features that may be considered more West African, but she's the same. She's still a beautiful woman, and her whole job is around her looks, her aesthetics.
Yeah.
So I think the way you said it so succinctly was absolutely correct. For some reason, darker skinned women have a hard time. You're saying darker skinned women have a hard time accepting that there are dark-skinned women that can be considered ugly, period. And it has nothing to do with their color of their skin. It has to do with the proportionality of their face.
Yeah, and then of course, yeah, and then I feel like if people are petty, they'll also throw your skin in it. It kind of reminds me of that, again, that older lady that went viral with the wrinkly skin. She was light skinned with eyes.
The lighter skinned woman, lighter skinned woman who was I think she just turned 50, and she did the whole pretty privilege is real, and she was like, because of my skin, because of my hair, because of my light eyes, people say I'm pretty. That one.
Yeah. They were because she was a little bit funny looking, she had the wrinkly skin. people were roasting her skin complexion as well. So it happens both ways. I feel like people make fun of you when you're unattractive.
That's true. You know,
Yeah.
I actually remember. No, I remember a mixed kid. He's adult now, but they said they would tease him and call him piss colored.
See?
They'll call him piss colored because he was so light. He was a short guy. He was mixed, but he identified as black. I think maybe because he didn't have the choice. But they would clown him because of his light skin. They would clown him.
Yeah, we just don't talk about that. I knew a guy that was only into dark-skinned women, and he would call lighter-skinned women, like, I don't know if I can say it, but like clam, like a food.
Okay, a food.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
So I just think people are just mean in general to people that they don't find attractive, which sucks. But yeah.
No. There, yeah, like just how society doesn't really care about broke men. I think we can assume that society is not as kind to women who are considered unattractive.
Exactly.
We can agree with that, and that's the way it is. Now, if we want to change that, if we want to try to work for a better society that looks for internal and tangible qualities, I'm open for that conversation. But I think the thing about it is we would also need to include men in that. We would need to include men in that for sure. Because I think we're really okay, like creating spaces. That's what the whole body positive thing was about. And like try to broaden the definition of beauty and broaden the definition of desirability into more diversity. So I'm like, I can be in agreement with that. But then I think also we would have to now look at the way in which we judge masculinity and also create or be willing to redefine that. And if we're not willing to do that, then I think it's invalid, my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was the last one I wanted to play. It was really short. I just wanted to play it though because I think it encapsulates some of what I've heard, some complaints that I've heard from dark-skinned women, and I can notice even among like really dark-skinned women that there's a different conversation. Some who are very much like, I don't have this experience. I am fine. I'm married. I have my whatever. I'm getting modeling contracts. I'm making money. Attention. And then you have those who very much feel, or maybe more in alignment with this, this content creator here who feels like she's getting hatred from even Black men who share her own complexion, right? So there's this competing narrative that we hear.
Yeah, it's just different spectrums of dark-skinned women. And see, when you don't have this lady's plight of being unattractive and getting teased, now the shaming word that they have for you is, oh, you're being a token. I don't know if you've ever been called that, but
you've been called a token.
You have?
No. You're saying you've been called a token?
Oh yeah, because I come out and I say, as a dark-skinned woman, I cannot relate to the woe is me, I'm dark-skinned plight. And some people just can't. Some of the dark-skinned girls that are unattractive, it's hard for them to cope with the fact that it's not really your skin, it's your facial harmony. And so, yeah, they have shaming words for women that do not have their same experience in life.
Same experience. Yeah. No, I think, and that's a whole other conversation. The thing about it is, I don't believe a woman is less valuable as an individual just because she's not considered conventionally attractive. And I think the challenge is women believe that their value and their ability to even have a happy life or fulfilled life is completely connected to how they rank in the desirability scale. And I just don't believe that's true. I will use, you say Shay is too nice. I will use for example, I know we're supposed to have a conversation about fat women, so that'll be interesting. But I will use, for example, do you remember that story? I think it was like a month or two ago of the woman from Zambia. She was just posting, all she was doing was posting a selfie. She wasn't trying to do anything. She was just like, I think she just got a facial or her nails done or whatever. She posted a selfie of herself, went throughout her day, and then she went viral. And people were like, they were being so mean. She wasn't being mean to anybody. She wasn't conning anybody. She was just living her life, posted a selfie, and she went viral, and it was for the wrong way. They were calling her ugly, all kinds of different stuff. Did you see that one?
Was it that girl that was like, she had the huge nose and
She had a very big nose. Yes, her.
And the glasses.
Yes. So, and I want to say she was Zambian. Now, if you listen to her, because I actually listened to her, she just seemed like a very kind woman. But if you listen to her talk, she said about herself that she was unaesthetically pleasing. She was like, I'm very much in acceptance that I'm not considered pretty. Like, that's not who I am. But she found value in other things. She found value in her career, in her relationships, her family, in her connection with God. And so she talked about how she went on to live a very fulfilling life. But I think she was in acceptance of who she was, how was she perceived. And she still found fulfillment in other things. So I actually found her story very inspiring because I was like, okay, I think there's a lot of women who can resonate with her, but she's not sitting here being depressed and trying to, use all her ways to castigate men for not finding her the most beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. She's in acceptance of that, and she's still finding value in who God created her to be, and she's still finding value in her gifts. So that's what I wish sometimes. I know sometimes I wish the conversation could progress to that, because if prettiness was meant that you were always happy, look no further than Aisha Curry. I think we can all agree that she's a very attractive woman, but she's talked openly about her being unhappy or being in therapy because she's trying to deal with these insecurities, deal with these moments of,
Yeah, I mean, shoot, that's a good point. Like, as far as the unattractive woman you were talking about, it sounds like she's decentered her looks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like she did. And it worked out for her.
I think she talked, she's very involved in her church community. It sounds like a career that she really liked. So she was, I think she was, because she was fulfilled in her career, I think, in her relationships. I don't know if she was married or not, but I know she had a close family connection. Yeah, it sounds like she was just in acceptance with who she was and who she was meant to be. And I think that's a big, I always talk about the importance of spirituality in your connection with God, because to me, that is everything. I think like knowing your purpose and finding your purpose, I think there's a level of satisfaction that comes from that cannot be replaced with, okay, I'm pretty today or I'm pretty not. Because, looks change all the time, looks change. So you have to have a sense of identity that is beyond where you are at aesthetically, because that is destined to change. You're not always going to, even if you are the prettiest girl in the room at one point, you won't always be. There's going to be somebody younger, going to be somebody fitter. There's going to be the hot new thing. So as women, like, we have to have our anchor in things that are more intangible and more long lasting than just, I'm cute or I'm not cute,
Yeah, for sure. I talk about that all the time. I always tell women, like you need more looks. It's not sustainable long term. It just helps you a little bit. And while you are beautiful, shoot, try to take advantage of it. Like, get married, utilize it. Don't just let it go to waste. And then, the next younger, hotter girl is, replacing you. And so, yeah.
I always see it as access. Like, I feel like looks is it's really all about access. So it can give you access to certain opportunities, to certain people, to spaces. So so use it for that. Use it for what it's meant to be. Obviously not crazy, but use it for that. But don't end there and stake your whole existence on that. And in my opinion, it's like I think you just have to be in acceptance of you have to be in acceptance of who you are. Like I said, it's like not all men are 6 feet tall, not all women are 10, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
See, maybe I can, take a lesson, because I'm a perfectionist. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I try to look like a model.
And there's nothing wrong. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's great. Like, absolutely make, have fun, dress yourself up. Like, I'm all for that. I just think for me, it's about recognizing that the conversation has to expand beyond that. And I think as women, we have to learn to start to cultivate aspects of our femininity and identity that are beyond our looks, because your looks fade. And the interesting thing about it is I had a conversation with I remember actually having a conversation with a white woman about this, older white woman who was about to be 60. And she was, just from the different things that she had told me, she was considered very very attractive in her pride. And I would say even as like a 60-year-old white woman, I think she still looked really good for her age. But I remember her kind of talking about how it was a little bit difficult for her to reckon with her body aging. The things that she used to be able to do as like a young, hot, blonde or whatever. And then now as her body changes, she can't do that anymore. And, okay, her trying to find like, where do I place my value now? Like, I don't have that thing, like what's anchoring me. So it's a real thing. And maybe it's something that we don't think about as much when you're younger and when it seems like that's so far away. But, as you get closer and closer, just as things change and you recognize that it's just looks are so fleeting. They're very fleeting.
Yeah, I think women should be the full package.
Yes. Yes.
For sure.
Yes. But yeah, do your hair, beat your face. Like I was telling you, I was like, oh my gosh, I was telling my husband I literally want to like go and do like just a whole like a refresher on makeup, because what I found is like the makeup that you wear every single day, if you wear makeup is totally different than what you put on camera. Like, and also my husband is so more of like a natural. My husband is like a natural girly. Like they're not girly, but like he prefers no makeup. Like how you look. How did God make you out the womb? That's what he likes. But we want to feel dressed up. We want to do different things. But I find like there's a difference between stage makeup. There's a difference between makeup that you may do on camera or for television versus what you would do in person. Completely different. I mean, I know you don't really camera like that, so it's neither here nor there, but it's just little things that I'm recognizing. lighting. We've talked about this, how it's like you can have a certain lighting and then it's like you got 5 wrinkles. Then you turn on the bright lighting and it's like, oh, my skin looks so nice and clear. Like all those little things make a difference. And as women, see, that's the kind of stuff that we be looking at. You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff.
Shoot, I can't relate because I am anonymous on my page.
You are anonymous. That's fine. That's fine. But I'm just letting you know, like, if you ever feel like you would want to cam up, that like seriously, like something as I told you how somebody had made comments about my skin tone at a time where I recorded a video, literally no filter. I happened to record a video in like a light room. It was like a light, bright room. There was a lot of lighting. And so they could see my skin tone better. And they're like, oh, they made reference to me like trying to make myself look lighter. And I was like, actually, no, it wasn't at all. It was just a bright room.
Oh my God. I can't stand when people do that to, I would say like brown skin, chocolate women. Like, bro, again, there are some photos where I legit look light skinned. And I'm not trying to do that on purpose. It's just the camera, the lighting.
Yeah, and that's right. And that's another thing, because I know Black women are always online, are always trying to dox other Black women on like if they a skin bleached or not. But then I'm like, yo, I mean, we all know there's a difference between a summer skin tone versus a winter skin tone. Like my skin gets a little lighter in winter because I'm not out in the sun as much. I like to live in the sun. I live in the sun. Summer, even fall, because I like to walk around a lot and I like to be on trails. So I'm a lot darker. I'm probably maybe 2 shades or so darker than I am in my winter. You could have winter color, you know? But ladies like to act like they don't know the difference between their summer and their winter shade.
They play so dumb on the internet. I hate that conversation. It's overdone. They're accusing everybody of bleaching and stuff like that. Like, please.
And it does happen. Like I do know women bleach. So I won't deny that. But I'm like, we also know it's not always that. It's not always that. Especially to me, like if it's subtle, like if it's super subtle, then I'm more apt to be like, okay, let's look at the lighting, let's look at the time of day, and let's also look at the season. Like seriously. Like, I'm that one. If it's subtle. Now, if it's hella obvious, then I'm like, then maybe there's some truth to it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like you can tell when someone's bleaching because I don't know how to explain it, but like they literally look white 24/7 no matter what.
Do you feel like it's like a matte? I was gonna ask like how you can tell. Does it seem like it's kind of like they have like a matte undertone or matte finish or something to it? Or like, how do I put it? Like
They have a
ghost, like kind of washed out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think a lot of them have like a gray, like a ghostly, like a hospice look.
You said a hospice look. Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like the skin doesn't look it doesn't look vibrant.
It doesn't look healthy. Yes, it doesn't have a glow. It looks like dead.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is so late over here. I know you have got to. Shout out to my barrier crew who's supporting it from the Bay. Some of y'all are probably night owls, late timers. I appreciate all of you guys. This was fun. I like literally was like, we're gonna talk an hour. That's what I intended to do, but I know we were running our mouth. So yeah, so that's what I have. I know we covered off so much. We covered off a few videos. Uglyism, ugly punishment, colorism, all those different things. I kind of feel like we landed on, obviously colorism does exist. We are not denying that, and it does impact people. However, it can be overblown or it can be used as a way to either as a way for like ladies to like escape accountability. I believe sometimes like to deal with the fact that maybe you just don't have a good personality, or maybe you're coming off like mean or aggressive, or it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. And then secondly, like it's hard for us as ladies to accept that not all women rank the same on the beauty hierarchy.
Yes.
Considered prettier than others, and that has nothing to do with your skin tone. It has more to do with your proportionality. That's kind of where.
Again, look at a Nokia. That's the perfect example. Right. She's a supermodel.
Yeah. No, she's a supermodel. So, but yes, you said, can you change the picture? Yes. So, yes, that's what we have. Do you have anything else you want to leave with the audience? Are you guys also, if you haven't, be sure to check out her channel, Blunt Girl. We could actually, while we're here, we can show everybody where you're at.
Okay.
Yes. Let me see. You guys can check out some of what it is she has going on over there. It says everyone. Okay, why do you call yourself the mean girl? I noticed that you said everyone's favorite mean girl. What is that about?
Because women are always trying to insult me, and I don't know, like, what are they trying to accomplish by this? I don't care. So every time they insult me, I just own it. I've proudly boasted about being picked by my husband.
Of course.
And, like, I just take it and I flip it and own it. Like, I don't know. I just take my power back. So I guess I'm the mean girl.
Do you mind giving a little bit of spilling the tea, just a little bit on that whole situation? Like, you said you brag about being picked by your husband. Like, why? Like, how did y'all meet? What do you love about being picked? You don't have to go into like hella long, but just whatever you want to share.
Oh no, for sure. Well, shoot. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I will say what I like about being picked by him. That's funny. I was not prepared for this question. Hold on.
You just speak from the heart. There's no such thing as a right or wrong. That's just, you said that you said you brag about being picked by your husband. So I'm like, okay, tell me more, because listen, I did a video years ago called like, I love being a pick me. And it was kind of like this big troll video. I might do a part 2 now that I'm talking to you about this, all about just like, kind of just like teasing out this team that we're trying to make picking a bad thing. And it's like, well, who wants to be a pass me or skip me? Right? Like, I don't. So why are we trying to like demonize heterosexuality? That's hella weird.
Well, see, that's why I don't care. Like, that's exactly why. And I feel like it's a bunch of, and then again, what I did was I flipped it and I started calling them skip-me's. That's what they are. They're skip-me's. Guys don't really take girls seriously that talk like that. And that's why they're always mean on social media, bullying everybody that's in a happy relationship and stuff like that. Right. That's not a happy woman. Those are skip-me's.
That part. So yes. Okay, well, thank you for hanging out. I know it's been late. Thank all of you guys for chilling. Game Changer, I'm gonna email you back. I saw your emails, touch base, and yeah, this was fun. You guys check out her channel, Blunt Girly. You can go hang out, show some love.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is crazy. I'm so happy I could do this like live stream with you. Like, I'm super happy.
Anytime. Yeah, I saw someone in here talking about opening up a panel. You're welcome on anytime. I was like, could get some more girlies to call and that'd be fun.
Wait, with us? Oh my God, that's fun.
I mean, if we want to, or just, I mean, I'm open. I'm if you want to, we can always do a part 2 and have like an open panel and some ladies. That'd be fun.
Yes, that sounds juicy. Like, I always wanted to do that, so I'm down.
Okay, listen, whoever is courageous enough, because some of these ladies like to throw a rock and hide their hand. They love to do that. I'm serious. So whoever has the courage to come up and I mean, I am such a like I'm like the least like threatening person you'll ever meet. I feel like I'm not a threatening person. So I would think that ladies wouldn't be afraid, but some are.
Yeah, you're very nice. I can tell by this conversation in a good way. It's inspiring. It makes me want to be a little nicer.
Oh, you do you. No, I had guys in the comments who were just like, I agree with her. Game Changer's like, you're too nice. I was like, I think too, I'll say this, and I think sometimes I have like a soft place in my heart, like even like when we talk about plus, and that's gonna be another life. But like even when we talk about like fat woman, like I think certain things like, okay, so I have people in my family who like legitimately struggle with weight, like legitimately. I was an overweight kid too. So I remember having like my first diet and I was like 6th grade. I did a ton of diet. So I think there's a part of me, like when it comes to certain things where I have a bit of compassion because it's like I have people like that I know personally who I can put their name to that struggle. Whether they struggle, they feel like they're not beautiful, or they struggle with their weight, or they feel like they're constantly judged because of their weight. You know, so like I think because of that, I'll think about those conversations that I had, right? I think about the people that I know who were like in tears crying over these things or having hard times or dealing with insults. So I'm more apt to want to be sensitive to that. But that doesn't change the fact when it comes to certain things, it's like, okay, we can still be sensitive to your feelings, but at the end of the day, like your heart like is still doing what you need to do. You know? So that's just one example. I'm just saying that's one example where some people are just like, oh, this fat, get in the diet. And I'm like, oh, I know that that's ultimately what needs to happen, but let's tease this out anymore. Is there emotional eating? Is there some binge eating going on? You know, what's causing this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty brutal on my channel.
I know.
To that topic.
No, I understand. And listen, if you didn't grow up, like if you grew up in a family with a healthy weight, then that's fine. Like, listen, like I've had multiple people in my family who are like really, really struggle, right? You're talking like eating disorder, you're close to it, like in support groups trying to deal with it. So it's like, it's very close to home for me. So it's one of those things where it's like, I know it's an incredibly important topic that needs to continue to be addressed in the Black community, 101%. And we have to hold the line. I think we got to stop being like, oh, okay, you know, God loves you, you're beautiful, and you're 500 pounds. Yeah, God does love you. That's amazing. And also, like, your body is not meant for you to have, you know, excess 100 pounds on you. Like, two things can be true at once. So, yeah, we can do, I just think like I try to create space. I think I try to create space for people's emotions around some of these sensitive topics, but I know that has to be done in nuance. Like you can get overboard with it as well.
I didn't even know that you struggled with your weight because you look really good. I would have never guessed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was an overweight kid. And gosh, like I said, my first diet, I remember it was Atkins diet when I was in 6th grade. And not the Atkins, it was a grapefruit diet. I did a grapefruit diet and I was 6th grade, and it was like you would have a half a thing of grapefruit, and then it was basically like all protein. And then it was grapefruit. So I did that. I did Atkins, which is like low carb. I tried the South Beach at some point. I did Weight Watchers. So like pretty much all throughout my middle school and my high school, I was like pretty much on like a heavy diet kind of binge cycle where I was like, I would have these extreme diets. I did like the lemon cayenne pepper cleanse for a bit. I tried that. And so I found, I think that experience, like where you have these diets that get really extreme, if you don't address why you maybe are turning to food, or if you don't even establish healthy eating habits in that process, then you do get caught in a vicious like binge diet cycle. So that's something that I actually dealt with really all up into college. I think college is when I really get a sense of like, okay, it's not about trying to have an extreme diet. It's about let's have healthy eating. That's when I started working out more consistently, because I didn't do sports in school. I was like a choir kid. I did like choir and instruments, but I didn't exercise. So yeah, so I say that more like because of how personal that was to me, and then seeing people in my family who they weren't able to make that transition. Like I think because I dieted so much when I was younger. As an adult now, it's so easy for me to be in an environment being like, I'm just not eating that. Like I don't struggle to be like, oh, these donuts or these church's chicken or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not eating deep fried chicken at 1 a.m. in the morning and like pasta. I'm not doing that. Like because I had to when I was younger. I had to, so it's not an issue for me anymore. But I recognize, I just know how it feels, I think, from that point.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I guess my channel, I like more of, I don't know. Okay, what helped me lose weight, because I also went on a weight loss journey.
Okay,
What helps me lose weight is mean, brutally honest people that are like in my ear.
Really?
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Never mind. I was gonna say something, but yeah, that's what helped me. So I try to do that approach. I don't know.
So no. Like I said, you have to know you're a kind of person. You need somebody to be like, girl, you're too fat. You got to lose pounds, or your husband gonna leave you. I mean, not saying that, I'm not saying this gonna happen, but like you need somebody who's gonna like threaten you like that.
Yes, like I can't do the I don't know. I like people who are just extremely blunt. That's what helped me lose weight and keep it off.
So did somebody come to you like, girl, you don't look good in that dress. Stop.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
No, somebody come to you and was like, did somebody come to you and were just like, okay, you're too fat, or like you don't look good in that dress, or girl, what are you doing? Like, did somebody come to you and just tell you that you were fat, and then you're like, okay?
No, that's literally what happened. Like somebody told me, it was a guy friend. At the time he told me that I was getting chubby, and I said, "Oh, really?" And then I went on the scale, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I am."
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and then I just lost weight. Like I'm very like straightforward. Yeah.
That's what's up. No, I love that. And listen, like I said, it's good for me to hear these conversations because I wanted to share with you my journey, my weight loss journey, as to why I tend to be more sensitive. And I think having people that I know personally who are incredibly sensitive, but it's for me hearing you, that's helpful. It's helpful to know that for some people, like what they need to hear is, girl, you're fat. You don't eat good, and you need to lose weight.
That's what helps me.
You don't even lose weight for that. Like, it's not healthy for you to be this fat. Like, for some people need to hear that to wake up and be like, wow, I'm going to start to take care of my temple. Because it's not to me.
Yes.
I don't believe in like necessarily, not everybody's going to be a size 2, obviously. That's not everybody's body type. It's just like, every person's body has an ideal weight for them, period. Like past a certain weight, joints start hurting, back start hurting, stomach, everything hurts. So it's like, if you go beyond the weight that your body is meant for, it's just not good, period. It's not even about aesthetics. It's not even about looks. It's about, that's not good for your body long term. So I think that's like the most important thing. It's like your health is at risk when you start making all these caveats and stuff.
Wait, I get where you're coming from, because you and I have a different upbringing around food. You said you struggled with, like, I guess, like certain EDs. See, I was just greedy all my life. So I needed somebody to be like, you're getting big, stop being greedy, put the fork down. I can see why you need more of a compassionate approach, because you went through a lot with food.
Yeah, no, I legit had like, or I would, I mean, it was never ever like a thing fully classified as ED, but I bet you, like, if I was in therapy at that time, they would call it that, because I would have I would go on these crazy diets. I would be super good, and then it would be like I'd have one cookie, and then I remember it would be like a straight binge fest, where I'd be like,
oh no,
this entire thing of cookies and peanut butter and ice cream and pizza and pasta. Like
I talk about that on my channel.
It was that. And it was completely so it's like I understand like every woman needs I think different things as far as motivating. But what we don't need to do is lower the standards of health. The standards of health need to be consistent. That needs to be clear. Now, how you deal with it, how you talk about it, maybe how you motivate it, maybe that's what needs to be individual. But I do think we need to be like, I think all the BS that we do in the Black community, trying to create space for, I think, comfort around morbid obesity.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Certain Black women are just greedy. And so they need someone to be mean to them in order, not mean, but like, brutally honest.
And when you say,
and that'll do it.
It's like you just eat too much, period. Like the issue is you simply just eat too much. It's not like, nothing else outside of that. And you need to practice discipline and self-control. That's what you need.
For some people, that's all it is. Like for me, I didn't have a deep emotional reason as to why I was eating. It wasn't trauma or anything. I just liked food. Like I liked the taste of food. Like that was it.
Okay, and listen, and that's real. That's real, and that's what I'm saying. It's like if you are that, if you're just greedy and you're obese, or you're getting to like morbid obesity stuff, and you keep on hearing, "Girl, you're a beauty queen. Do you, boo?" All these things that are basically trying to create space for your unhealthy habits. That is completely different than someone who's, like you said, maybe an ED.
Yeah.
There are conditions. Now, I wouldn't say that 80% of Black women have these conditions. There are conditions, though, where it's just legitimately harder for people to lose weight, and they're more prone to put on weight, like PCOS. PCOS can mess with a woman's metabolism. Yeah, but that's different. You having some form of a condition, which is, I think, a lot more rare, is way different than a woman who just sitting up there eating some whatever, chicken fried steak, with the cheesy pasta, going to KFC and saying,
yeah, exactly.
Do you boo? Because it's like the do you boo mindset has a lot of ladies, in my opinion, messed up. A lot of ladies.
You said the what mindset?
The do you boo?
Oh, yeah. But no, I really enjoyed listening to your story. It just, I don't know, very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It taught me a lot.
Everybody's journey is. But I think what you said too is really valid. It's like, for not everybody, some people just are greedy and they need something that is straight to the point, blunt. There doesn't need to be all of these. There doesn't need to be a psychological analysis around it.
Yeah. Yeah, not for me, no. I didn't need that.
That's it. Listen, my grandma hated fat people. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like, because she was from the era where to be fat was to be lazy, and she did not like lazy. So
she's like me.
Yeah. Oh my God. And she would clown. Oh, she would clown fat people. It was bad. I think maybe also too because I had a grandma who was so base. If she was alive today, she'd be called base granny. The way that she would just completely like tear down the humanity of fat people.
Oh my god.
It was like they weren't even human. Like it's
I'm sorry.
she was very bad about it. I was like, oh my gosh, grandma. But also she was the same person. If you told her that she was losing, if you told her that she was getting too fat, she was on a fast. She didn't play. She would not. She was exercising every single day. She was doing her weights. If you told her she was being fat, she was skipping a meal. She did not believe in being fat. That was like the last thing that you could be as a human being was fat. As a woman, particularly as a woman, she did not believe in fat women.
She sounds like me.
Yes, she was so base. Yep. So you said base granny, yeah. But my grandma was alive today. The things that she said on a regular were very based. Very based.
I've been around a lot of Black families that are like that. Like they like, okay, my best friend, her family was all skinny. And I realized the reason why they're all skinny, like they look good, like they're in shape, is because you cannot be fat in that family. They will roast you for filth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everybody looked good because if you didn't look good, they would roast you.
I'm assuming this is was this a well-to-do Black family?
What was it?
Was this like a well-to-do or like a successful Black family?
Like, are you talking about like class as of class?
Yeah.
No, they were not like super higher class. No.
Okay, they were like working class because I feel like, Southern folk, working class Black folk, it's a whole different, generally speaking, and that's not to say that that's always the case. But I feel like Southern folk definitely, here's the thing about it. I noticed too. I tweeted this the other day. I said, if there's a Black woman who goes on a weight loss journey, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be somebody Black that she knows that tells her to not get too skinny. At least that was my experience. Because I can remember I would lose weight, or I would be like, I would want to slim down, or I'd start working out, whatever. And when you're around white folk, especially around them like skinny, because there's certain cultures where it's just like they are just naturally like pencils. It's just like there ain't no curve. It's just like wash. Everything is just like flat like a washboard. So when you're around other culture, like you don't feel like big like that. But when you get around Black folks, especially like Black church folk or country folk, it's like, girl, don't get too skinny. Girl, I would always hear that.
Yeah, I experienced that.
Yeah, you always hear that. So it's like I'm not getting too skinny. Y'all just used to y'all used to ham hock thighs, okay?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I am not trying to have ham hock thighs at my age. Okay. I know even when I get older, I feel like I don't want ham hock thighs, period. I like ham hocks, but I'm not trying to do that every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel like a lot of people, or Black people, since a lot of Black women statistically are just the most obese in America.
Oh, for sure.
They have a distorted view on what a normal sized woman looks like. They think you're like anorexic. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know if I can say that. But.
No, I think you're fine. I don't think it's fine. No, I think you're right. I do think we do have, listen, even in the Bay Area, like you go to certain parts, like you go to like certain schools in Oakland and you'll see it's like multi-generational. You'll see, a very plus size, well-endowed grandma, and then you'll see a very plus size, well-endowed mom. It's like, okay. But then you'll see a little plus size, well-endowed little child. And it's like, oh, this might be connected to some habits.
Yeah.
Some lifestyle decisions we need to look into. Especially if you see that, then they're eating like, goldfish and like candy bars, and like the little popsicles, and it's like, okay, maybe we can. We're getting to what's going on here. So.
Yeah, that's sad. I hate to see like a huge family and the kids are huge.
Yeah, when you see the kids, then you know it's probably like a lifestyle learned behavior thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, girl, I've been kicking you off for the last hour.
Oh my god, I know, right? Okay.
No, not kicking you off. I'm just like, it's late. I know it's late for you. Oh my gosh, it's almost 11 here, so it must be. I can't even imagine. It's super late for you.
It's
But yeah,
like 2 here.
oh my gosh, yes. But we can definitely, yeah, we can touch base again. This was fun. Maybe we can plan like a panel or something. It doesn't have to be so late next time either. Like I said, it was just, you already know the situation. I'm going to be handling that in a bit. But yes. So
Okay, yeah, good luck.
yeah, no, it's listen. A lot to uncover. So but this was fun. Thank you so much, you guys. Be sure to check out her channel if you have not already. And yeah, I guess we'll just keep in contact for sure.
All right, thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Okay, so again, that was fun. Like I said, very last minute. Very, very, very last minute, but I'm glad we were able to have that conversation. We talked literally, I feel like, about everything. We just kind of all over the place. But anyways, yeah, guys, that's what I have. If you have not already, also be sure to go check out or grab your copy. Grab your copy of Jermaine Did It Too. If you guys haven't seen, I literally just dropped pre-orders today. And I think, and listen, in light of many recent events, so be sure to grab your pre-order, your copy of Jermaine Did It Too. This story is about Christina, a bright young girl with big eyes, big cheeks, and an even bigger imagination. But she loves to blame everything on her classmate Jermaine whenever things go wrong. So this story is about teaching young Black girls the power of accountability and how accountability, self-accountability, can lead them to better choices, the courage to grow, and ultimately happiness. So again, check this out. You said I'm tired of the bird. Y'all, I cannot. Be sure to grab your copy of Jermaine Did It Too. I will have more to come on that. And yeah, guys, we're gonna definitely keep it going. Those books are adorable. Thank you so much. And listen, these books, they're kids reading level, but they are definitely things that I think adults could learn and glean from, particularly Black American women who have issues taking accountability. Okay. I'm gonna just say that. We all know that accountability is something that some of the lovely ladies have an issue dealing with. It sounds like it's a lesson that they didn't learn. So it is never too late to learn the power of accountability, and that's what this book is about. So be sure to check it out. Grab your pre-order links. It is on sale until the book drops. Thank you guys so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.